Alrighty, people. You know what time it is.
Yeah.
It's time to do a 2025 rookie mock draft. National championship games in the book. Ohio State came out, threw a haymaker, and we almost saw a historic comeback from Notre Dame, but they fumbled the bag. So your Ohio State Buckeyes are your national champions. And I know we got a lot of Michigan Wolverine fans in our community. And I'm in a Devy league with some of them. And it was just funny because they were not happy about it. They were not loving life. But they also were just saying like it's discredited because they had 2 losses. And so it was funny to see. But Ohio State Buckeyes are your national champs. And I think some people made some money for themselves. I think Judkins made some money for himself. He moved up. Grant actually talking about it here. Grant, for me, Judkins moved up as my 12th overall player in the class to my 8th overall player in this class. Similar tier, but I'm not going to move him up too high. But I still think he's made himself some money. Egbuka, I think, separated himself as the wide receiver 4 in this class pretty clearly. The third, if you don't count Travis Hunter. And Will Howard is someone I'm going to be scouting at some point. Jeremiah Love is someone that will be potentially the 101 in 2026. So it was a fun game to watch. And we're excited for you guys being here with us. Do us a massive favor. Go ahead and smash that like button to show some love. We see y'all in the chat. Grim's here. Styles is here. Faulty's in the building. Abe is in the building. Nayan's in the building. We got Grant earlier, like we said. Bob, Albert. Not great, Bob. Not great. We've got Proofy, K Money, Mason. Brizzleton's in the building. Dominic. Fizzle. Dollars. What's
Let's keep
Gucci?
going. Keep it going.
Booty Clap King. Clapping them booties every day. Teriyaki is in the building. Liam's in the building. Daniel. Nelson.
Yep,
We've got the whole damn crew. We appreciate y'all for being here with us. We are doing a 2025 rookie mock draft. That is the first part of today's stream. The second part of today's stream is team reviews. Be a friend. Smash that like button. Like all today's 100 likes. And before we even get into the mock draft, you guys have already gotten us almost halfway there. You guys are absolutely incredible. So I appreciate the love. All right. So we are going to do a mock draft today. And I'm excited to get this thing popping. Now, Badaki, if people want to join today's mock drafts, let's say they're out there and like, hey, I'd like to get some, practice in. Maybe I have a pick somewhere here and there, and I'd like to see, what I could do, what I can make some action with. How can they go ahead and join our mock draft today?
Yeah, guys, that link is in the Discord. Join our Discord. That link is in the description. That link is also in the chat. Okay, if you want to join any mock draft, each and every mock draft on a week-to-week basis, whether you're watching now or in the future, go to the Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs, then go to announcements. That's how you could join each and every mock draft that we have here. It is first come, first serve. Okay, so we appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm going to send that link out here. Once again, join our Discord, the Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs, then go to announcements. That's how you can join each and every mock draft. I'll send that link out in 3, 2, 1. There you go.
All right. And that link is sent out. It is first come, first serve. And we've got another hot off the press 7-round rookie mock draft from our intern, Sammy Stacks. Big shout out to Sammy. Appreciate the love. Sammy. And Sam does have a Twitter, by the way. Let's see here. I think we can give him some love here. It's not pulling up your Twitter, Sam. I don't know why, but Sam Millett 23. But yes, he is consistently putting together these 7-round mocks, and it's a great deal of help because even 1-round mock draft is a lot of work. So a 7-rounder is impressive, and he keeps doing them. Keeps churning them out for us. So this is the world we're going to live in today, and basically we're going to talk about how this would impact Dynasty football if this were reality. All right. It's fun to play different scenarios. It's fun to kind of, live and learn and play these different hypotheticals out. This is today's world that we're living in. Cam Ward is a Tennessee Titan with the #1 overall pick. Shedeur Sanders goes to the Browns. Travis Hunter goes to the Patriots. Ted McMillan is a Las Vegas Raider, which is a possibility. I know probably people don't like that, but outside the Patriots, we keep talking about this. Which team do you really want him to land in? It's tough to really point to a team you love. So it's a possibility he lands in a spot like that. Ashton Jeanty, 10th overall to the Chicago Bears. And this makes a ton of sense, right? Just had the new hire of Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson obviously had so much success with the David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs combination there. Now, respectfully, I don't think DeAndre Swift is a part of that combination in the future. I think he's easily, if you can get any second for him, then you take that second and you run. But I definitely think they're going to add running back. No doubt about it now with Ben Johnson here. If it's not the first round, it'll be the second or third round. And this is a realistic scenario here. Ashton Jeanty at 10 overall. If they say, you know what, there's not a tackle that we're in love with, our defense already played pretty well, let's get a game changer to really help our run game. They had one of the least efficient run games in the NFL last year. I could definitely see this being a realistic possibility for Ashton Jeanty. Luther Burden lands with the Arizona Cardinals. I really like that spot. I mean, funnily enough, Kyler Murray has more success with like these underneath type of players right now rather than like the true outside. Like Marvin Harrison and him were not on the same page, but Greg Dortch was pretty consistent. Obviously, Trey McBride was pretty consistent. So it's an interesting landing spot. Don't love it from the perspective of there's a lot of mouths to feed already there, but it is a possibility. And in this world, the Seahawks say, you know what, let's grab a project with Jalen Milroe. And if Jalen Milroe gets first-round draft capital, I mean, how does that impact the way that we value him in a Dynasty rookie draft? That will be fun to see. He'd obviously sit for a little while behind Geno Smith, but it'd be a good spot for him to sit and learn. Tyler Warren goes to the Denver Broncos, links up with Sean Payton. Amarion Hampton in the first round to the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Najee Harris replacement. Then we see Colson Loveland to the Rams with the 26th overall pick. And like right now, that might not look good to some of you guys, but think about it for a second. We don't know if Cooper Kupp's going to be on this team next year. Probably not part of their long-term plans at this point. And outside of Puka Nacua, who is the other receiving threat you really need to worry about? Colson Loveland would be in a great spot, in my opinion. Emeka Egbuka in a perfect landing spot for him. Honestly, like, this is perfect. This is ideal for Emeka Egbuka. Complements Terry McLaurin and would be an incredible asset if he landed here. All right, moving on to the second round where we see Matthew Golden go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I cannot wait to talk about Matthew Golden. I did finish scouting him. I am a huge fan of his game. In fact, he is ranked tied as my wide receiver 5 in my rankings right now. Alec A. Manor, who I'm still yet to scout, goes to the Patriots. Then we see Trayvon Henderson to the Cowboys. Great spot for him. Harold Fannin to the Bengals. Great spot for him. Jalen Royals to the Packers. I think that's a fantastic spot because no one has really stepped up and solidified themselves. There's an opportunity for him to kind of really grab a role, especially with Christian Watson injured. Caleb Johnson to the Chargers, perfect landing spot for him. Jaden Higgins to the Carolina Panthers. Jack Besh, I love this spot with the Houston Texans in the second round. Trey Harris to the Philadelphia Eagles. Then we see Jackson Dart in the third round to the Giants. Quinshon Judkins to the Raiders in the third round. Perfect spot for him. Restrepo to the Saints. Isaiah Bond to the Cowboys. Cam Scatterbo to the Bengals. Jalen Knoll to the Bucks. Dylan Sampson to the Denver Broncos. Great spot for him as well. Savion Williams to the Ravens. Tez Johnson to the Jets. DJ Giddens to the Browns. They desperately need running back help. I love that spot for him. Mason Taylor to the Dolphins, which is cool because obviously his dad was a all-time Dolphin great. Nick Nash to the Titans. We also see Torrey Horton to the Bills. Gunnar Helm to the Saints. Terrence Ferguson to the Colts. Kobe Hudson to the Falcons. Quinn Ewers to the Steelers. Caden Prather to the Chargers. By the way, I also scouted Quinn Ewers because when I was scouting Matthew Golden, I was like, you know what? I might as well scout Ewers at the same time. And I will say, I don't see a team drafting him in the first 3 rounds. I do not see it happening. This guy was so frustrating to watch, and I'd be happy to talk about my scouting notes if someone wants me to dive into it. Woody Marks to the Texans. I love how he would compliment Joe Mixon. Ty Felton to the Chiefs. Jarquez Hunter to the Giants. Love that spot. Yeah. And we'll go through round 5. If you want to look at round 6 and 7 yourself, you can do so. Devin Neal, perfect spot to the Vikings. Eric Arroyo to the Patriots. We've got Pat Bryant to the Dolphins, Khalil Mullings to the Colts to back up Jonathan Taylor, Ricky White to the Giants, Dylan Gabriel to the Dolphins, Luke Lachey to the Jets, Aradone Gazden to the Chargers, Antoine Wells Jr. to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Raheem Sanders to the Eagles. Let's see here. Any other noticeable names? RJ Harvey finishes off the 5th round to the Baltimore Ravens. All right, so again, that is in the description if you want to keep track of the mock draft. I'll also put it in the chat for you. But this is a Superflex PPR 12-team tight end premium rookie mock draft. When you draft a kicker, just tell us what name you want, and I will add it to the screen for us. So here we go. At the 101, we got Little Sweet 24 on the clock. What is up, B Mac? Wow. What is up, Chris in the building?
How are you feeling, y'all?
Brizzleton says, so is your booty clapping or are you clapping booty?
I think it's a little bit of both.
I love it. Rep That King Forever in the building. Sebastian's here. Gunners, General's here. Will's in the building. What's up, guys? Welcome in. Welcome in.
How we feeling, man? How we feeling?
We appreciate y'all for being here. And I agree with Styles. A lot of dream landing spots in this mock draft. So that'll be really fun to kind of think through together as we go through this mock draft.
This is what we want. Maybe we need to do dream landing spot, Sammy, and then worst landing spot. Keep alternating. Get us in the groove, okay?
Yeah, I agree. We definitely need to play out a world at some point where like everything goes wrong.
Yeah, like for example, quarterbacks don't go like Shador or Cam don't go 101, 102. Like they go somewhere in the middle or something, or
yeah,
it needs to be like scramble it up.
Yeah, I agree. We need to play out a scenario where the quarterbacks don't go top 10 because
I think that's a realistic thing.
I think so too. Yeah, I'm not saying it will happen, but I think it's a realistic outcome. If these teams don't fall in love with certain prospects, I actually think it could be a possibility. I'm guessing this is Little Sweet here, 24. Daniel, if you don't mind, come over to the Sleeper app and just pick a kicker for us. Otherwise, we'll have to manually do it for you. But I believe that is him there. So we are going to go ahead and grab Ashton Genty off the board here with the 101. Remember, he went to the Chicago Bears with the 10th overall pick. And funnily enough, I mean, you and I we talked about this last week. And I kind of mentioned, I think the Bears are a realistic possibility for Ashton Genty. And obviously in today's world, we see that actually play out in real time. But Ashton Genty, he's a Chicago Bear. My initial thoughts are I'm obsessed with it because of what Ben Johnson has done with the running back position with his time as an offensive coordinator. And I'm also obsessed with it because DeAndre Swift he's not holding the jock strap of an Ashton Genty when it comes to touches and opportunities on this team.
Yeah, I mean, this will definitely change a lot of things here for the Chicago Bears, no question. I mean, Ashton Genty going there is going to elevate this offense to another level. Rome, DJ, Ashton, and then Caleb going to another year with Ben Johnson is going to be crazy here.
And they also had a pretty young offensive line, so that their offensive line could improve as well.
100%.
At the
102.
Ted McMillan.
Yeah.
Where did he land? Raiders?
Not the most exciting landing spot. Yeah, he goes to the Raiders. So in this world that we're living in, Ted becomes the number one wide receiver, but who's the quarterback throwing to him? Obviously, Gardner Minshew, if I'm not mistaken, has that 2-year contract extension. Or was it 3 years? I actually don't remember. And then obviously AOC.
If they don't take a quarterback in the first round.
In this first round.
Do they go Sam Darnold in this scenario? I mean, that could be interesting at least. But yeah, I mean, I think Brock Bowers would be the dominant target share earner still. I think you would see Tet right behind him. You know what I mean? But I don't think Tet is a true threat to Brock Bowers in the sense of, sell your Brock Bowers shares because Tet McMillan's coming into town. No, I wouldn't see it that way at all. I would see Brock Bowers building on his rookie season, being one of the number one targets in the NFL, and Tet McMillan, being right behind him in target share on this team. That's how I would kind of read this myself.
Yeah, completely agree. Which is going to drop his stock, I think. I don't think he'll be a top 3 pick potentially, depending on some of these landing spots. Like dream scenario, like maybe some of these running backs get pushed up the board over him. And as we see Omarion Hampton, he goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first round, which is also exciting. You know, do you take Omarion Hampton over Tet going to a landing spot like the Raiders? I think a lot of people would consider it. Not saying I would do it, but I think a lot of people would consider it.
I probably would. And it's not so much the landing spot. It's just that I don't think Tet has separated himself, for me, in my evaluation, in a tier of his own over Omarion Hampton. And the historic hit rate for a first-round running back is so big. It's hard to miss on a first-round running back, really. I mean, you have a 86% hit rate on a first-round running back in the last decade. So, I mean, for me, that's probably would be my deciding factor, whereas wide receiver is more at 48.6%. So yeah, I mean, that would probably be what will push me over the edge there. But of course, I mean, it depends on who's the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh at this time. You know, is it still Arthur Smith? He's being interviewed for all these jobs. Their offense was very boring, but it did feature the running backs. And for Omarion to get first round capital here, that'd be really spicy. At the 104, 100%. We see Caleb Johnson come off the board. Now, he was a second round pick. But didn't he go to the Chargers?
He does go to the Chargers, and this is one of my favorite landing spots, honestly, for any running back. If you get, I would say if the Chargers draft a running back in the first 3 rounds, I think it's pretty clear that that's their future over J.K. Dobbins. Even if J.K. Dobbins just get another contract extension, a 1 or 2 year contract extension, I think over like the long haul is going to be Caleb Johnson, which I would take here at the 104 if he is available.
Yeah, I agree. Again, second round draft capital here for Caleb Johnson, 55th overall pick to the Chargers. Got a pretty good second round hit rate for these running backs at 65%. The second round hit rate on a running back is still higher than a first round quarterback hit rate or a first round wide receiver. I mean, it's a very reliable pick there and a player with a ton of upside. So I love the pick. I love it a lot. At the 105, as your camera keeps coming in and out, by the way, and we can't hear you right now, but at the 105, we get Emeka Egbuka coming off the board. He is moving up people's boards here with this landing spot. He goes first round. He goes to the Washington Commanders. This is him in this world. He is set to compete with your Dynasty roster in year 1. He's set to make an impact in year 1. A Jordan Addison year 1-esque type of impact, right? Probably not going to garner 150 targets, but definitely going to get like around 110, 115, 120. Will be a reliable option. Might average 60, 70 yards a game on a good offense with Jaden Daniels. We know that Terry McLaurin is a little bit up there in age, but we've seen Emeka been a very productive wide receiver 2 for Ohio State pretty much every year he's been there. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, he actually set the record for all-time receiving yards for Ohio State wide receiver, which probably is going to be broken pretty quickly by Jeremiah Smith, who is just this maybe the best rookie season we've ever seen from a player. But I think it makes a lot of sense there for Emeka to come off the board.
It definitely does. And, you know, Terry's probably, I'm going to look it up, but I think his contract might be coming to an end here because drafted Emeka here in the first round kind of just sets the precedent that he is going to be the number 1 guy once Terry's gone. Terry actually's last year is in 2025 or 2026, excuse me.
Yeah. 2026. So he has another year on the book. So he's a free agent in 26, you said?
Yes,
free agent. They'll probably extend him, I imagine, this offseason.
I would imagine that as well. 100%. I would imagine that as well.
All right, at the 106, we do get Travion Henderson coming off the board. Man, he was so good. So fun to watch in the college football playoffs and even this entire season. I mean, just every aspect of his game I found very enjoyable to watch. He was I had the most fun watching him maybe of any quarterback or any running back not named Ashton Genty. I think he has a chance to completely break fantasy football. Like, completely. his dual threat ability. He's one of these guys who could garner 70 targets in a season, 80 targets in a season, you know. So I'm a huge fan of that pick. He goes to the Dallas Cowboys in the second round. Dream landing spot for TreVeyon Henderson. Cowboy, second round. Healthy Dak Prescott, healthy CeeDee Lamb going into their 2025 season. That would be perfect. At the 107 here.
Makes sense. Mm-hmm.
I consider this a discount personally. Mid first round pick. I think he's just as he's in the same tier as Tet McMillan for me. I understand why he fell because of the landing spot, but I am going to grab a Luther Burden off the board here. He goes to the Arizona Cardinals, and I don't think it's crazy to say Luther Burden could develop a really incredible role in the slot for this team. He could complement Marvin Harrison really well. First round pick. I don't see the Cardinals doing this, but again, I'm trying to live in this world. So again, we're trying to live in this world. We're trying to consider this reality. I don't see the Cardinals spending a first round pick on a wide receiver again. I don't see that happening.
Yep.
I mean, they have a lot of needs, and they already spent a first round pick on Marvin last year. I struggle to see that being a realistic outcome, but I'm a huge fan of his game, and I think the only reason he's fallen this far in this mock draft is because of the landing spot. I mean, that's the only reason he's available at the 107.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. Look, I don't think it's out of the possibility that they can come here and get a wide receiver. I mean, I know obviously they do have a lot of other needs, but I think this draft class is not the strongest overall. They probably need more offensive line than weapons. But I mean, getting another guy to complement, they have Trey McBride. You got, Trey Benson last year. Getting another wide receiver too that can complement Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that'll be prime for this offense. But I like this.
I don't know that you spend a first round pick on wide receivers in back-to-back seasons, though. That's what I have a little bit of a difference.
Sure, that I understand. I guess it just depends. I don't know the landscape of the offensive line draft class. What I've been hearing is that it's not the strongest. It's probably one or two guys that stand out.
That's what I've heard. Good edge rusher class. So
I know offensive line is what the Cardinals need, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is what frustrates us about people who join mock drafts, because there's so many people who want to join a mock draft, not because we're cool, but just because everybody wants to have fun and they want to participate. I could be wrong here, but it looks like Jack joined and then just bailed. Guys, if you can't be a part of a mock draft, just don't join it on that day. You'll have another opportunity. So I guess we're going to have to draft for Jack, which makes it a little less organic. Again, sorry, not trying to be rude, but if you can't commit to the mock draft, don't join it. All right, at the 108, I guess the consensus is probably yelling, why are these quarterbacks still not drafted? So I guess I'll take Cam Ward for the 108. Yeah, I mean, I can't say I don't have conviction on this quarterback class. I do. And my conviction is that I'm not that high on it. I don't believe any of these guys are worth a top 10 pick in any NFL draft. I think if they do get drafted that high, I think it's because of need. And I don't like that. I don't like betting on players like that. And Cam Ward has a very special ceiling. He goes to an offense now with, some pretty good receiving wide receivers, or running backs like Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears, and he's got Calvin Ridley there. But I just think there are a lot of flaws in his game. And I find often people, this is what they do with Cam Ward. They're like, this is all the things that he could be. And I hear you, like, arm talent is there. He can extend plays. He's a great pocket awareness. Totally on board with you guys there. And it feels like then people say, and you have to take the good with the bad. That's like all people, they don't dive into what that bad is, because there's a lot of warts that you have to actually discuss in his game. And again, the last time I personally had this kind of conviction against a quarterback was Will Levis, and I think that was pretty valid. Of course, I'm not an NFL GM. You don't have to take my word for it. And if he truly is a number one overall pick, of course I'm going to have to consider that and the historical hit rates of this class in the quarterback position. But I don't know. I still have a lot of concerns, and it's I just don't know exactly how to address them yet.
I don't think anyone knows how to address the quarterback situation. I mean, these landing spots aren't really like screaming at us either. You know, I mean, the Titans are still rebuilding. The Browns have good foundational pieces, probably with Jerry Jeudy, but it's not that exciting. So I definitely I understand it.
Well, Shedeur Sanders, is that right? Went off the board.
Yeah. Warren went at the 109, and then I'm at the 110. I took Shedeur Sanders.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think it just depends on. I think one of these guys is just going to be middle of the pack quarterback. I don't think one of these guys are going to be like, okay, this guy can be the Josh Allen or the Jaden Daniels. There's not one in this class.
No, there's not.
But we're going to find out who's going to be the middle of the pack quarterback. Who's going to be a guy that's going to win you games. And I think that can either be Cam Ward or Shedeur. We just don't know who. But in a Superflex league, in a Superflex mock draft, if I fall at the 110, I'm going to take a guy that went with 101 or 102 NFL draft capital there. So
and I'll say this: I don't want to throw too much shade on these quarterbacks, but I also think not enough people are actually telling you why. A lot of people are saying they're probably not worth being drafted in top 5, but they're not telling you exactly why. They're just saying because they have some issues with their game, and I don't know. It's just. I think there are quite a few warts on film, and I don't want to dive too far into it, but Cam Ward, for example, I mean, if we can just dive into it like a Twitter version, if that's okay. I can see the upside. I can see the arm talent. Like, there is some Jordan Love level playmaking there, but there's a lot of really questionable decisions. I mean, he makes poor decisions way too often, especially under pressure. I see a lot of like Colts Carson Wentz. Like Colts Carson Wentz. I mean, guys, there were some. Go back and look at the year that Carson Wentz started for the Colts, because there were some plays of the year, and you were like, "Holy shit! How did that guy do that? That is Superman!" And then the very next play, you're like, "What the hell are you doing, Carson Wentz? You just cost us the damn game." I mean, there's a lot of that. He holds onto the ball way too long. Both him and Shedeur Sanders, they both hold onto the ball way too long. That led to so many sacks. And, you can say sacks is a offensive line stat. It's not. It's a quarterback stat. I mean, we know that. I mean, look at what Sam Howell, he happened to do in Washington. Every time he had an opportunity after that, I mean, the guy is attracted to sacks. I see that with some of these guys as well. I mean, I question the internal clock on Cam Ward. A lot of times he is missing like these initial reads that are wide open and extending the plays. So yeah, there's like the positive side of it. Look at him extending plays. Look at him getting out of the pocket and getting creative. That's fine, but he missed the wide open his wide open read in the pocket. His wide open read was there and he missed it. Right? I mean, the sideline accuracy is a concern. I don't think he's going to get designed runs. Like, it's more like the Caleb Williams type of rushing upside, not like the Jaden Daniels. This is somewhere between Will Levis or Jordan Love. That's what you're getting with Cam Ward. And I'm not sure that we're really obsessed with any of these situations for a quarterback anyway. Do you really love the idea of a quarterback going to the Titans currently constructed? How about the Browns currently constructed? I mean, maybe your Giants are the best situation with Malik Neighbors, but I don't know. I mean, I have some major concerns around Cam Ward. I think Shedeur is a safer prospect, but doesn't have the ceiling that Cam Ward has. Shedeur is like Tua. He's like Brock Purdy in my mind. So anyway, I will just say I think there are definitely reasons to be optimistic, but there are some reasons for some concern.
Yeah, I would just say this as well. Like, if they don't go in the top 3 on quarterback needy teams, I don't know where they were going to go.
Yeah. Well, Timothy brings up a good point. He says, the only pushback I have is that Will was a second-round pick. And if Cam goes number 1 in the draft, that's all I need to know. Well, friendly reminder, my friend, if you want to go back to January of that offseason, Will Levis, everyone had him in the first round of their mock drafts. Everyone had him top 15, top 20. People said Will Levis was a first-round pick. They were convinced of it. And, by the way, if you put Will Levis as a prospect in this class, Badaki, is he not the number 1 overall pick? Genuinely. Let's talk about that. Is Will Levis and all the tools that people talked about, all the upside, is he not the number 1 overall pick if Will Levis is in this class as a prospect? You can't use 2020 on this. Hindsight.
I mean, because of his arm strength and the way he was moving the year before he got injured coming in, yeah, he would be, I think.
Exactly.
Look, I get it. I think another thing is like Will Levis was like a top 5 pick up until the draft night.
Yeah.
And then you just saw Will Levis keep falling. Okay, is Will Levis coming here? I feel like everyone said it was guaranteed that he was going to go in the first round and at least top 5 picks or top 10
People had
picks.
him sharpied in to the Colts.
Locked in. And then he fell into the second round. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Which I feel like this could be the case. I just don't see a team in the second half of the NFL draft that can take a quarterback. Everyone has a quarterback right now, unless they're going to draft a backup quarterback or a Michael Penix-esque type of quarterback.
Which, by the way, leads you to ask the question: why spend a top 5 pick on them if you can maybe get them in the second round? Like, again, let's just think about this. Let's think about this real quick, okay? And again, I don't want to harp on this too long. I don't want to spend too much time. But let's say that the Titans, the Browns, the Giants, they all skip on quarterback. Let's say one goes to the Raiders. After that, maybe one goes to the Jets if they really want to seem desperate. But you get into these teams. I mean, the Colts are going to go A-Rich for another year. We've got Penix. We've got Kyler, Burrow.
I think the Saints are in play as well.
Geno.
Sorry.
You've got Baker. You've got Bo Nix. Maybe the Steelers force a quarterback. But you've got Herbert, Love, McCarthy, Stroud, Stafford, Lamar, Goff, Daniels.
I think the only team that can take it in the second half would probably be the Rams. That's the only team. The rest have their quarterback of the future.
Yeah, I could see the Rams.
That's the only team that I can see taking one in the second half.
But if I'm one of these teams, if I'm the Titans, if I'm the Browns, and I'm not convinced, and my scouting department is not convinced, hey, I have a mid to late first round grade on these guys, but based off need, they might go top 3. Why not just see if they fall? If you set the precedent, what if you get Shedeur at pick 35? You know, what if Cam Ward falls to pick 20 and you trade up from the second round? You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, look.
Yeah, go ahead. Continue.
I just think there is a conversation to be had.
I get it. Perfect. Ideal thing for the Giants: get Travis Hunter, trade up into the first, maybe like pick 30.
Yeah.
Get a quarterback if they're available.
All right, guys, who do you think is the best value in round 1? We did see Jalen Milroe come off the board at the 111 and Quinshon Judkins at the 112. Quite frankly, I'm not so sure that Milroe isn't the better pick if this was the world we're living in. Because I don't have conviction on any of these guys being like these guys who just completely changed the landscape of Dynasty football. I think Cam Ward has a high ceiling. He has a very low floor. Shedeur Sanders is going to be safe. He's Tua Tags. He's Brock Purdy. And someone recently said, Tua Tagovailoa is such a disrespectful comp for Shedeur Sanders. I mean, you're kidding me. If you think that's a disrespectful comp for him, you're just not being realistic. Stop comping him to Joe Burrow. Be realistic. Stop.
You're kidding me.
You're absolutely joking yourselves, man.
Say it to his face. Come to the meetup. Say it to his face.
But Jalen Milroe, like, why? I mean, he gets first-round draft capital, so they both have this historical hit rate knowledge. I mean, you have him sitting behind Geno Smith for a year. He's got DK Metcalf and JSN to build around long-term. So, I mean, you can make a case for him with all that rushing upside. It's basically Anthony Richardson, but cheaper. And then at the 112, Quinshon Judkins, who went to the Raiders early round 3. Okay. So who was the best value pick in round 1? A lot of people saying Judkins with Burden as a close second. Getting a 103 talent at the 107 is fantastic value, referring to obviously Luther Burden there. Who do you think was the best value in round 1, Badaki? Styles says he'd be floored to get Burden at the 107.
Yeah, I think it's Burton because of what I kind of mentioned. You know, I mean, yeah, the Cardinals do need some offensive line help, but can they get that in free agency get another top receiver in the first round, have 2 weapons, have 3 weapons around them with a young running back waiting in the wings in Trey Benson. So you have Luther Bird and Trey Benson, Marvin Harrison Jr. with Trey McBride, with the quarterback that could make this team. Well, he already makes this team fantasy relevant, but can he take the team to the next level? So I'll say Luther Bird personally.
Yeah. I mean, whoever drafted him, congratulations. That really well done. You must be. Wait, hold on. Is that me? Wait a second. I'm just kidding. All right. Let's get into the second round. The 201. Go ahead and call it out for us and tell us where they landed in what round.
At the 201, Cam Scatterboot, and he goes to. Let me pull that up. He goes to the Bengals in the third round, excuse me. So now this does make this a little bit interesting with Chase Brown.
This is not what Chase Brown owners want to see.
No, especially with the type of runner he is. I think he is kind of like a Chase Brown, maybe a little bit more, has a little bit more power.
Yeah, my comp for him was David Montgomery.
Yeah.
Really good first and second down back, I think. Just guy who moves the chains consistently, but Chase Brown might be more of your explosive,
like
home run
explosive,
hitter type.
100%. So I don't mind that.
That would, I mean, let's just play out this world for a second. Where do you rank Chase Brown in Dynasty if this happens? Can't be top 12.
No, he's not. That's what I'm saying. He's the top 12, top 10 type of running back right now in a lot of people's rankings. I'll probably say like around 17 to like 25. I just need to figure that out but that will be the range.
Yeah.
You know, like,
which is a conversation most of us don't want to have, but we might have to have it at some point. We'll have to wait and see. But let's see. So at the 201, like we said, Cam Scatterboot. At the 202, we do see Travis Hunter come off the board. He went to your Giants, right?
No, he went to the Patriots, actually. The Giants get Abdul Kader.
Okay, right.
But yes, Travis Hunter goes to the New England Patriots, whether this is cornerback or wide receiver. I think we've been saying this for a long time. I personally don't think that it's going to be announced he's going to be declaring as a cornerback or wide receiver. You're just going to figure out what's going to be happening on game day. Whether he's going to be playing wide receiver or not, and you're going to be happy with your pick, or you're going to be frustrated that you picked a cornerback. But he goes at the 202 to the New England Patriots.
It's interesting spot though, because if you think again, okay, so Patriots get him with the 4th overall pick. They already have Christian Gonzalez. Now, that is you can let Christian Gonzalez shadow whoever you want to, right? He's that good. Travis Hunter, you could legitimately paint a bigger picture here than any other team where he could play both ways and maybe is even more needed as a wide receiver for this team. Considering what is your number one goal with the New England Patriots? Your number one goal is for Drake May to take another step this year. And I don't care if we give up 30 points. If Drake May is out there looking like a true franchise, elite prospect ceiling type of player, and we see him progress, I don't care if my defense is giving up 30 points per game. I care knowing that I have this guy that I can build around. The guy in the playoffs who can say, I'll take a game over like we've seen Jaden Daniels do. So you could paint a picture here where it might make more sense for the Patriots to play him at wide receiver than any other position, especially given the goal of their team should be to see Drake May take that next step.
Yes, which is going to be exciting for whatever happens. All right, at the 203, we see Colston Loveland going. I think this is the steal of the draft, the first round tight end going to the Las Vegas Rams. Sorry, the Los Angeles Rams.
Such a steal.
The fact that he didn't go in the first round, yes, it's a super flex league, so some of these quarterbacks do get pushed up. Jalen Milroe goes in the first round, but easily a first round pick for the tight end here. And look, the only concern that I have here, which I've learned last year, was what's that quarterback play of the future going to look like? You know, I was very hesitant on Brock Bowers, not because of his talent, but because of the landing spot. And look what he does. Finishes as tight end 1 this year. I know Puka Nacua is there. I know the situation is different with Matthew Stafford, but does he play with Matthew Stafford for at least another 2 years? That would be nice.
Yeah, and we saw Sean McVay, you know, he talked about this in recent I think it was last offseason, he said he's got a new love for, the game. And he's kind of like revived his coaching love and adding a name like Loveland. If he drafts a name like Loveland, he will be in the lab
100%.
every day
Sean
scheming
McVay
up ways to feature him.
He has an addictive personality.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, we got Puka Nacua. How can I get him the ball? Yep. Here's 150 targets. Oh, we have Kyron Williams. Oh, let me get him 120 touches and 15 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Oh, we have Colston Loveland. Let's go crazy.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
I agree. I would love that spot for a tight end. Alec A.O. Manor does come off the board next. Now, Alec was a second-round pick, and he was an early second-round pick to the Patriots. And obviously, they need help.
And go two back-to-back then.
Yeah, they definitely need help. Travis Hunter, Alec, you're starting to build a nice little wide receiver room there. Obviously, we don't know exactly what role everyone will play, but I am a big fan of the Patriots just investing in Drake May, if you will, investing in his future, which is what they do with that pick. Now, they really need offensive line help, so I hope they did that in free agency in this scenario. All right, at the 205, we've got Isaiah Bond coming off the board. He goes to the Cowboys in round 3. And look, I love Isaiah Bond. I mean, you can't watch his film and not fall in love with him as a player. But there are so many outside factors that really make it impossible to rank him right now. For example, the production is mediocre. It's the definition of mediocre. It's some of the worst production in this entire class. We're talking about a guy who he's had one game his entire career over 100 receiving yards. One game his entire career over 100 receiving yards. About 2% of his games. We're talking about a guy who had some sort of off-field beef with Saban. Saban spoke kindly of him when he transferred from Alabama. And then we're talking about a guy who has this weird, Texas goes on a run, and I know he's dealing with an injury, but he gets no targets. He's not involved. It's a strange situation all around. At the 206, we see Jack Besh come off the board. I like this pick a little bit more than the Isaiah Bond pick because I prefer Jack Besh as a prospect, but also because he goes to a spot in the second round instead of the third round, and he goes to the Houston Texans. So he stays in the state of Texas, and both of them do actually, but Jack Besh just instantly fills that wide receiver 2 role, hypothetically, in this scenario, assuming Stephon Diggs doesn't come back. So I really like that pick. And then at the 207...
You're at the 207.
Yeah, I am, and I'm kind of stuck because there's 2 players I really want here. There's a player I want to hype up because I just scouted him. But there's also another player that I just prefer slightly. All right, they're both my guys. I'll go with Jalen Royals here. He goes, again, second round to the Green Bay Packers. And when you think about it, I think you could make the case like, well, the Packers room is kind of overcrowded. I don't know. I'm not sure because if you think about it, how long does Romeo Doubs have left on that rookie deal? Not long. Christian Watson tore his ACL late into 2024. He's probably not available all 2025. Dontavion Wicks did not pan out. He's not reliable, unfortunately.
The Baba Yaga.
One of the best route runners at the position. Can't catch the ball to save his life. And Jaden Reed, they don't think he's worthy of featuring. So to get Jalen Royals in the second round, a team that historically has a great hit rate on second-round wide receivers and developing them over time, I think this is an incredible spot for Jalen Royals. Obsessed with the idea of him being with Jordan Love long-term and would be really excited to see how that will pan out.
I like Jalen Royals there.
Have you had a chance to look at Jalen Royals much or haven't?
Yeah, I have. I like Jalen Royals. He's my wide receiver 4 in the class right now. I like this landing spot, like you said. He can definitely be the feature, especially with all those things that you mentioned. So I like him separating himself in that offense personally. Yeah,
I mean, he has the talent to definitely be the clear number 1 on that team. No disrespect to Jaden Reed, but if they ever wanted to feature someone, he has the upside to be just a dominant player, I think. Dylan Sampson came off the board next. A really great pick in his own right. He goes to the Broncos, I believe, round 3.
Yeah.
So he comes off the board. Well. Very good player, very productive. This team lost Jalen Wright, and they didn't miss a beat through the run game with Dylan Sampson. By the way, update on our like goal. Original like goal was 100. You guys smashed that. We now have a like goal of 150, and we're almost there already. You guys are incredible. Do us a favor, smash that like button to show some love. Easy way to help this channel grow, and just after the stream is over, it just helps the stream grow on its own organically. But after Dylan Sampson,
yeah, I have 2 players here. I really wanted Royals personally.
Sorry.
I thought he was gonna fall to me.
Before you make a pick, I'm sorry, but we actually I just forgot. We need Zach to make this pick. Is he with us? He was saying he wanted to make this pick. Where is he? Zach Bailey. Is Zach Bailey still with us? Can you comment who you want at the 208? Because Jack has abandoned us, unfortunately. So is Zach there? Because I said he could make the pick. And if he's there in the chat, I'll let him make the pick.
Which I think I know what's going to happen then. So let me have a look at someone else.
I don't see Zach. People are saying he already made the pick, but I don't see him, that account. I don't see that account making any comment. Am I missing it? Oh my gosh, he's in the chat somehow. Okay, right. Okay, I'm an idiot. Matthew Golden comes off the board. I think that's who you were about to take, Badaki. But
yeah, yeah, Jack isn't.
So Matthew Golden comes off the board here at the 208. Can I take a second and just say why I love Matthew Golden?
Yeah. Go for it, please.
Because I did scout him from the last time we had a rookie mock draft until now, and haven't had a chance to talk about him in any video. I'll do an updated rookie rankings once I finish all my scouting I need to do. But yeah, I really love this player. I'm not sure we've seen the best of Matthew Golden yet, which is very exciting. Like, this is a player that I think can be even better in the NFL than he has been so far at the collegiate level. But he's 6 foot, 195 pounds. You can play him inside, outside. He played 76% out wide and 24% in the slot this year. He's got true versatility. You can play him anywhere on the field. And, you know, last year I put this tag very early on Lad McConkey, where I said, Lad, the space creator, McConkey. I talked about how much I really loved his game. I'd like to label Matthew here, okay? And I want to call him Matthew, the space manipulator, because that's what I think he does best. I don't think he's as good of a route runner as Lad McConkey was, but he manipulates space with the best of them. It's a threefold compliment. Number one, ridiculously high IQ and a really good understanding of how to beat the coverage in front of him. An advanced understanding of a DB's tendencies and how to exploit them. He doesn't have like elite twitch. He doesn't throttle down elite at an elite rate, but he beats them with his mind. He has a very high IQ as a route runner. Number two, part of that compliment, if a DB is playing off of him, he knows how to manipulate him, with head fakes, body fakes. He's got a very good ability to use his body, to use his head to gain separation with ease. And number three, he has a special ability to identify zone coverage and to sit in the right pockets. And he's got incredible ball skills. Very quarterback friendly, which he needed to be alongside Quinn Ewers. The one-handers, the concentration catches, the one-on-one balls, tracking the ball, high pointing it. He has tier 1 ball skills. In fact, he had a 61.1% contested catch rate. He caught 11 out of 18 contested catch opportunities. I mean, he is a very, very impressive player. I mean, I think there's a lot of Brandon Cooks. I see a ton of Brandon Cooks. I see T.Y. Hilton. I see Robert Woods. I see Emmanuel Sanders as a floor for this player. I think has a very high floor. He's a pure hands catcher, can play inside, outside, great quickness, long run speed, quick, purposeful feet at the line of scrimmage. I think Matthew Golden is maybe the best value in Dynasty rankings right now. He is my wide receiver 5B. I have him right behind Emeka Egbuka, right behind Jalen Royals. Okay. And I think there's a scenario where he goes in the first round of the NFL draft. I think there's a realistic scenario. He ends up being a late first round pick in the NFL draft. So think about these teams. The Rams, the Texans, the Commanders, these are teams that could legitimately look at Matthew Golden and say,
I like those teams.
And could say, I think he can contribute to our team day one. Huge fan of his game, and I think it's going to translate at the next level.
Okay. Well, that's exciting. I was like, if he goes in the first round, I don't want him to go to some of these teams. I mean, you know, that would be exciting to see him to go to like the Texans with everything that you were saying.
I think Texans would be perfect landing spot for him. I think he'd be the perfect number 2 alongside Nico Collins. Like I said, young Brandon Cooks, a T.Y. Hilton. I see so much of that in his game. Huge fan of him overall.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome there. And then Dylan Sampson, we see go at the 109. He goes to the Broncos, if I'm not mistaken, which is also a really nice landing spot. Mm-hmm. He goes to the Broncos in the 3rd round. So, you know, obviously getting another big body running back there. Next to Aldrich Estimate, Javonte Williams most likely gone. So that is very interesting. And I'm at the 110. I take Harold Fannin. He goes to also the Cincinnati Bengals in the 2nd round, if I'm not mistaken. Just getting another weapon there for Joe Burrow at the 110 for me.
Oh, look, we saw in little spurts how valuable a tight end connected to Joe Burrow could be without T. Higgins, right? We saw Mike Gesicki very relevant without T. Higgins. And Harold Fannin, I mean, he could put up some huge numbers in Cincinnati, so I love that a lot. At the 211, we get Devin Neal coming off the board. Devin Neal went in the 5th round to the Minnesota Vikings. Love the draft capital. In fact, the draft capital historically is not very good. It's 16% hit rate, but the landing spot is beautiful. You could easily make the case that with that landing spot, you have to take a shot on him.
No question.
You know,
no question. At the 212, a lot of people I've been seeing in the chat, where's Trey Harris? What happened to Trey Harris? But if you're a Trey Harris lover, you're going to hate the landing spot. He goes in the late 2nd round, if I'm not mistaken, to the Philadelphia Eagles, which is honestly, I think we can all agree, a dead landing spot. Where is he going to get some opportunities? Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Devonta Smith. Where does Trey Harris fit into that offense? I mean, hell, even Jahan Dotson's there, who was a 1st-round pick technically. But, well, I mean, you may like Trey Harris. You're not going to like the landing spot there. He goes there at the 212.
Yeah, not ideal. Not ideal at all. All right, guys, through 2 rounds, who do you guys think is the best value on the board? Best value in round 2, let us know. I mean, Loveland is an eyesore.
It's Loveland. No question about it. Goes in the 1st round. You get him in at the 203 to the Los Angeles Rams. I like Quinshon Judkins' landing spot, but I thought Loveland was easily going to be the 112, and that would have been the steal of the draft in the 1st round.
Yeah, with the draft I think if Judkins goes round 2 to the Raiders, you make that call to put him over Loveland and Warren, but for it to be round 3 and Loveland to be a round 1 player, it's hard not to make that pick. What does the chat think? We've got Loveland, we've got Golden, Loveland or Royals, Scattaboo almost took. Okay, so yeah. So a lot of people saying Loveland as well with us. At the 301, we get Jackson Dart.
Giants' future quarterback, baby. Talk it up in the 3rd round.
Yes.
I need to look at this guy because I keep seeing so many people saying Jackson Dart. We should take him in the 2nd. We should take him in the 3rd. If we don't get a quarterback, go a different route. I need to go watch this guy's film. But I know a lot of people have been loving him and what he's been doing over there in Ole Miss. And I have a little soft spot for Ole Miss, specifically wide receivers.
Yeah.
If you guys know me, I'm a big Elijah Moore guy. But yeah, Jackson Dart. I mean,
I think it's a wasted pick in Dynasty.
In Dynasty, sure. I guess I mean in real NFL, I have no idea. But yes, in Dynasty,
I don't know about real NFL, but yeah. So what do you go 3rd round? Is that right?
Yeah, he went 3rd round. What's the hit rate on 3rd round?
0%.
Yeah. Okay.
0% in the last decade. So you'd have to have a historical turnaround there, which is possible. I'll give that to you. It is possible, but yeah, not likely. All right, so DJ Giddens comes off the board, and quite frankly, I'm surprised he's lasted this long.
Yeah, that's true.
3rd round pick to the Browns. I would have definitely had him going in the 2nd round if I didn't have Jalen Royals available to me. I think that could be contention for steal of the draft so far, to let a potential starting running back, 3rd round draft capital to a team that needs running back off the board. DJ Giddens, I think that's an incredible steal. And that's proofy back-to-back picks with maybe our favorite picks of the draft in back-to-back scenarios.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Congratulations, Proofy, on one hell of a draft, because you might have done better than anyone else so far today. At the 304, Savion Williams comes off the board, and I don't think I have a graphic for him yet. But yeah, Savion Williams comes off the board. Haven't scouted him yet. Have heard good things, but I can't speak for my own opinions just yet on that player. But yeah, I've seen good things. I've heard good things. Looks like a really good athlete from the highlights that I've watched. Looks very explosive, dynamic, but might be another Xavier Legette, which difficult to really say Xavier Legette. It's not going to work out just yet because we don't actually know. It's too early to really say that for sure. But based off of his rookie season, not exactly, I think, what most of us wanted to see. I think Jalen Coker is probably the better receiver long-term in Dynasty at this point. All right. DJ Giddens is already off the board. Supreme.
It's like, what are you talking about, dude? I picked.
We've already got DJ Giddens off the board, so we'll wait on everybody else. Let's keep up with the chat here, maybe. That would be a good idea, ABC, but not everybody does that. Let's see. DJ Giddens just went off the board. Yes, Ollie Gordon is coming out. Right now, we don't have. I mean, in this.
When's the official list end? I think it's this weekend. Is it the 26th? Actually,
yeah.
Or 27th.
Yeah.
Maybe next Monday or something. Or
in this world, Ollie Gordon was a round 7 pick to the Bucks, so it's hard to really draft him too high, given this world we're living in today. Yeah.
Let me see if I can find the date.
BMAX says, how do we feel McDaniel's getting another shot at OC with the Patriots? I was honestly shocked by that move. Genuinely. I mean, he's been a decent offensive coordinator, but
it just
feels like settling.
I think a lot of teams have to settle. There's not that big.
Yeah.
There's not that many movements happening in the NFL right now on the head coaching standpoint. In the sense of like, okay, are you gonna you have Ben Johnson available. You have, there was talks about us getting a new defensive coordinator. When I say us, I mean the Giants. But who else is out there? Obviously, you have the Dallas Cowboys. What is that going to look like? No one else has been fired, removed. Obviously, the Jets is also a big one.
Sure.
It's just a lot of pivots, essentially. You're not going to go from one team as an offensive coordinator to another team unless you believe in that talent of that team, most likely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Okay. Supreme is not giving us a player here. I appreciate you, Supreme. I love you, but I'm gonna have to make a pick for you because we're just not getting any answer. And who do you want to give him? Who do you want to give Supreme here? Let's do this together.
All right, let's have a look here.
I think maybe we give him Woody Marks.
Has Woody gone? Sure.
All right, Woody Marks is going to come off the board here. He went to the Texans, I believe, the 4th or 3rd round. And I think he'd be a really good complement to that offense. In fact, I think he fits the offense like a glove. If you want to talk about perfect fits, I think Woody Marks to the Texans is about as airtight of a fit as you can make in this class this year.
And you want to be airtight,
Yeah, max efficiency. But I think it's perfect. It's a perfect fit. Really fits the offense exactly what they want to do. Will complement Mixon well. Great pass catcher, and yeah, a big fan of his game. And I need to put Woody one spot over here because Sammy took a player that we don't have a picture of. There we go. So that's 301 was Dart. 304 was Savion Williams, just so everybody knows. At the 306, we do get Jalen Knoll off the board, which is sad because I'm a big fan of him. Probably would have considered him with my next pick as well. Where did he go?
Yeah. Jalen Knoll, if I'm not mistaken, he went to the Bucks. Let me just triple check that for you. Let's see. Yeah, he does go to the Bucks in the 3rd round.
Okay. So he goes to the Bucks. He is no longer available. And now I'm on the clock here. Starting to get thin. Sun's going down, big guy.
Yeah, it's hella thin. I'm trying to find somebody to draft right now.
But I got a couple names still in mind. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone before I make my next pick. Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. That's a great pick. Yeah. All right. We're going to grab Xavier Restrepo here. I'm surprised he's still available, actually.
The Saints, if I'm not mistaken.
Saints in the 3rd round. And
yeah,
kind of fits that situation like a glove as well. I mean, perfect complement to Chris Olave. Not a threat to overtake Chris Olave at any point, but just a reliable slot option. And if you're building a basketball team with your wide receiver room, you've done that really well with this pick here. You know, Shaheed can stretch the field. Olave, you know, can be your reliable, efficient route runner. And Xavier Restrepo can be this really nice slot producer over the middle for you. So I like that a lot.
Yep. All right, now Jack is back on the clock here.
How did Jack take that spot? Did you see that?
I don't think he left, technically. It's always been Jack, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it?
Yeah, it's always been Jack.
Wait, really?
You can't leave and come back, yeah.
You're right, it always was Jack. I don't know what happened in that situation. Maybe we didn't clearly explain how to make a pick. Maybe that's on us. Tez Johnson is off the board. I was also considering Tez Johnson. He goes to the Jets. I love that pick there. Unfortunately, Malachi Corley hasn't done anything worth noting.
Yeah, he has. He's fumbled a touchdown at the goal line there, if you remember correctly.
This has got to be like the year where that's happened the most times ever. You can't convince me that there's another year where there's been more touchdowns fumbled at the 1 yard line.
Well, who else did it off the top of your head?
Jonathan Taylor did it.
Malachi.
A different cornerback I remember did it on a pick 6.
I think that was due from the Bengals. I think.
I swear it's happened
I think that was the game
too.
they played the Chiefs or the Bills or something like that.
Yeah,
it was
insane.
I remember that.
Jordan James comes off the board next. I really like Jordan James. There's a lot to love about his game. I don't think he's the same level of prospect as Bucky, but you could say like Bucky light, if you will. I don't think he's as good through contact or making people miss through contact, but he's a fun player himself. You're on the board here. What are you thinking?
I had to see what piece. Oh, he took Jordan James. Oh, okay, you're right. I'll take Torrey Horton.
All right, Torrey Horton off the board.
Torrey Horton. He goes to the Buffalo Bills. I think we had a similar landing spot for him. Where's he going to fit into this offense? They already have a slot receiver in Shakira. Does he go play on the outside? Is he going in and out? Or he's just 2 slot wide receivers, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll go there.
You know, good question here. Would you rather have Amari Hampton or Bucky Irving? I think that question we need a lot more context, which would be understanding the NFL draft. You know, does Amari Hampton go top 20 first round pick? Because that could change things, right? But I think it's just too early to really give a good answer right now. But I think right now Bucky Irving's price point is around the 104 to the 106, 7. Some people are willing to sell him for the 108, 109. We've seen that many times in the comment section. I would never sell him for that cheap, but it's a close call. All right, Brashard Smith, the last pick of the draft. We're not going to go through 4 rounds because, quite frankly, no one's even going through 3 rounds right now. So we're kind of holding it down for the community who wants to go deep. You like to go deep, bro?
Oh, all the time, man. I try as much as possible.
You got a kid now. There's evidence.
There is evidence.
Brashard Smith, by the way, went to the Commanders. That's actually pretty hot. Commanders in round 6. I mean, long-term Austin Eckler replacement? That could be really nice, actually, thinking that one through. But we appreciate y'all for being here with us. Again, do us a massive favor, smash that like button. We've already completely shattered our like goals for today's video. You guys are incredible. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. It's awesome.
For showing the love on today's stream. All right, that is the end of the first portion of today's stream. And Badaki, so sorry, I forgot to hit start stream.
No.
So you're gonna have to put time codes on this. But we are going to go ahead and transition to the second part of our stream. All right. Which is reviewing people's Dynasty teams. So if you're out there and you want to know how to get your team reviewed, if you give me 1 second, I'll tell you exactly how you can do it as we transition over to team review mode. So we are going to review at least 3 teams tonight. We have a couple people who are currently getting offline reviews as well. So let's kind of set this up. First things first, if you're out there and you want your team reviewed, I'll tell you exactly how you can get that done. There's 2 ways to get your team reviewed. And more importantly, to get your playbook, right? Which is going to be a complete customized game plan for your 2025 offseason. But I would say pretty easily, and I know you'd probably agree with me, Badaki, the best way to get your team playbook is
no question
by becoming a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND.
Mm-hmm.
All right. When you become a yearly member, you get our 2025 rookie report, which is already up on the website. Version 1.0 is already out. We're already working through version 2, which will release after the Senior Bowl. Whole new group of players. Rankings will refresh. Players who are returning will refresh. But not only do you get that, you get access to all the premium tools on the website, like the rankings, the prospects, the My Teams feature, trade calculator, trade finder, all the articles on the website as well. You get access to every single post, but you also get your team playbook. All right. And your team playbook will be completely customized to your team. All right. Customized trade targets, what to do with your draft capital, understanding your league settings, your format. It all determines exactly how we would grade your team and how we would operate if your team was ours. Now, the other way to get it, if you don't want to be a yearly Mother Flocker member, is by purchasing one a la carte. That means if you're on a different promo code, that means if you are not wanting to become a yearly member for whatever reason, then use the link in the chat. It'll take you to a website that looks like this. All right, you'll click on Team Review. Once you're in the Team Review, if you haven't linked up your teams yet, I would suggest to do so. If you're on MFL, you can include screenshots and your MFL ID in the when you submit in the chat. But assuming you've already linked up your team, hit continue. Make sure you choose the right team. Make sure your draft picks are correct. If they're not, then add them, hit continue. Once you get to this page, you'll see Zach and Badaki from Fantasyland. The base model is the offline version. All right, some people prefer offline because they don't want their league mates to see the review. If you want both the team playbook and a live review on the live stream, it's only $10 extra to prioritize yourself to have a live version. All right. And once you don't do that, you are good to go. We are going to start off with LemonHerbert. All right.
Appreciate you, man.
And again, I'm sorry I didn't hit streamer mode. So you're going to have to put times on this for us, Badaki. But
That's all
ahead.
right. LemonHerbert. We
And let's
appreciate the
get this
support.
started. Again, we appreciate everybody for being here.
Yeah. Let's read this context here. It says, love what y'all do. Would love some insight on my team. Finished fourth. I got multiple offers for Neighbors, Marvin, plus 26 first. The others is the 102 plus. Should I hold Neighbors because I think he has wide receiver 1 upside, or try to make a big move while his value is high? Thank y'all. Thank y'all for all that you do. Okay, Lemon, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. And this is a 2 quarterback, 12 team start 10. So this is kind of what all of our dynasty leagues are. 3 flex, meaning you can start up to 10 players, start 10, and middle ground essentially here.
Sorry, I just got way distracted by Alex's comment.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. I thought that was hilarious.
All right, so sorry, you said 12 teams start 10. Yes, you are right. That's the middle ground.
The middle ground, yeah. And let's have a look at this team here. You're looking to sell Malik Neighbors. Maybe you can, depending on the context of your team. Maybe if you're full rebuild, maybe we want to sell him, or maybe we keep him. We'll wait and see what that looks like. In a quarterback, looking at your quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, great quarterback room, 2 young quarterbacks in the future. Rushing, and Justin Herbert, who is just going to get better and better. At the running back position, probably not the strongest, it looks like. James Conner, Tony Pollard, Zach Charbonnet, Tajay Spears, Nick Chubb, and the list goes on there. So, I mean, James Conner is serviceable with Tony Pollard. I have to wait and see what that looks like for the future. But not the strongest running back room. I'll say, obviously, low end of the pack there. At the wide receiver position, you can start up to 5 wide receivers here. Malik Neighbors, Lab McConkey, DJ Moore, Cortland Sutton, Cooper Kupp are your starting 5. With some serviceable backups with Wandale, what we saw, Rashad Bateman have up and down games. So maybe looking at some more wide receivers coming into this year potentially. And then Brock Bowers, one of the best tight ends in the NFL already. And then all you have at the 20 draft capital is the 112. And that is your pick, which is interesting.
That means
because
they won, right? I mean,
you said you finished 4th. This is I finished 4th.
Yeah.
So why is that 112? If you finish 4th, in reality, that should be what, the 9th pick?
Unless they have like a lottery system and he just got unlucky.
Yeah, I mean that could definitely be the case.
Not ideal. He has
Not ideal.
3 seconds in 26.
And he has this. He doesn't have his own first. He has expose your TDs.
Where's exposure TDs? They are 6. So
Probably middle.
I mean,
not really.
yeah, that could pan out. A lot of things.
That could pan out potentially 100%.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts is, look, not the strongest running back room, not the strongest wide receiver room. I think you have some guys that can play roles, but I mean, when I look at this team, I think this is like a 12 team league. I'd probably say like a C plus B minus is where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I mean, if I think through your starting lineup, it's Lamar, Herbert, Connor Pollard, Neighbors, McConkey, Bowers. That's a really good start 7, but you're start 10, which we'd have to do Moore, Sutton, Kupp. It's actually not that bad.
No, it's not. It's not bad at all.
It's not sustainable long term, I don't think, and with the wide receivers and running backs, and you don't have much capital to really change this. Hard to, yeah. It's like B minus, C plus range. It's like a hybrid C plus B minus. It's somewhere between there. Is there a way we can put C plus / B minus or something like that? Because it kind of feels like it's in the middle.
We can try, but what I'll do is, if not, I'll just give him the higher grade, which will be B minus.
Okay.
But as he's watching this or later, Lemonheart, hopefully you can understand where we're coming from there.
Draft capital probably B minus. I mean, you're not struggling with draft capital. You have enough. It's not like you have nothing, but you don't have a lot of impact opportunities right now. So it might actually be C plus because there's not a lot of impact opportunities with that capital. I might rather use it to get depth I think I'm going to use most of the seconds to build around this team right now, actually. Pathway.
Pathway is interesting because I feel like you are in a weird sense of, okay, you are contending because you did finish 4th, but you are an older team as well, which would be Windows Open.
It's weird to call a team that has Neighbors, McConkey, Bowers, Windows Open, but I think it is because we don't have our own first round pick. So there's literally no reason to not be in. Do you know what I mean? So 100%. I think this is Windows Open because this year it benefits us 0% to not be all in and try and win. There's no benefit at all to our team to not be a Windows Open, take advantage right now and try and win type of team.
Yeah. He also said I got multiple offers for Neighbors. He got Marvin plus a 26 first. The other is the 102 plus. Should I hold Neighbors?
The 102 plus doesn't interest me at all. The Marvin one, I would need more. Can I ask the chat, Marvin? To anybody who's watching, is that crazy to say? Because I honestly think I would need more. I don't think I would sell Malik for Marvin in the 26 first.
Expose Your TDs has Marvin Harrison. That's the team that we just saw. He has his own. That's the dude that has his first. LemonHerbert has TDs first, but he doesn't have much to offer. I mean, he has a 103, 104, 110. Not really exciting here. I mean, do you go to Marvin Harrison and get what? A Hampton, a 104, get a Tet? Like that's the type of return we would ask for, unless we do like.
I need more, dude. I need like I need Ayuk in this deal somehow. I think I need to get Ayuk in this deal. So let me think through, because I'm not a huge fan right now, currently constructed. I love Marv. I think he's a great buy low, but I don't want. Just Neighbors might be the best receiver in Dynasty. He might be tier 1 for 5 years. Who can we offer? Like, would you send, for example, like the 205 Neighbors in the 207 or something for Marvin, Ayuk in a first? That feels better to me for some reason. Maybe we can even try and sneak the 212 instead. I feel like you're gaining more value. And I'll say, like, if you can do this and just grab the 103, then definitely. Because you already have the 103. If you want to hold it and grab Hampton, or if you want to sell it, then you can do that. Like, you could end up with Neighbors Bucky plus. Or, sorry, Marvin Bucky plus. But I don't really think we need to make this deal, Badaki.
Yeah, I don't think we need to make this deal either.
So I'm
on the side where I don't want to sell Malik at all, personally.
Yeah. I don't think you need to sell Neighbors. Like, I don't think I really would want to. But if you are, again, I think you need more value, and that's where I would say it needs to get to.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. We're on the same page.
Yeah, I just don't think it's worth it right now based off what we've seen. But here's what I'll say. If we stick at the 112, you're in the range of, like, do we have, yeah, we already have Bowers. So, I mean, look, it's not that you can't go tight end, but you're kind of in like the whatever's left over. Egbuka, Judkins was the 112 today. Ideally,
I think that's what's going to end up happening. It's going to be one of these running backs.
Or a quarterback could fall if because not everybody is sold in the class. So some people, you know. So yeah, I mean, we got to keep in mind, like, I do think Marvin's going to recover. I really do. I think he's going to be much better. But he did just average 11.5 points per game, or 11.2 points per game. He pretty much averaged. If you put his stats and Xavier Worthy side by side, you're not going to know which one's which. That's a problem. That's a real problem. And
That's a real problem.
he's going to recover, but you already have a guaranteed, untouchable, unmovable asset here. That is not going to get worse than what he just had to work with. So, anyway. Yeah, I think you're in the Igbuka, Judkins, Matthew Golden quarterback range here. Tight end.
I wonder what we can get for the 112 right now. Out of curiosity.
I actually just made a video about this, and I can tell you pretty much exactly. I mean, it'll be a little sneak peek because that video comes out next week. Basically made a video where I told you exactly what you can trade every pick for right now if you don't have conviction on the class.
Yeah, because 112 might be, I think that might be the way where, you know what, let me go out and get a vet, just continue to solidify this if I don't love this class. You know, the first thing that came to mind is like the Olaves, the Pickens.
So I can tell you based off my research, if you're a late first, you're looking at the following receivers: Zay Flowers, George Pickens, Jordan Addison, DJ Moore, Jalen Waddle, Ayuk, Metcalf, Jameson Williams, Terry McLaurin. You're looking at the following running backs: James Cook, CMC, Ken Walker, Chuba Hubbard, David Montgomery, Derrick Henry.
Okay.
That's your range. Now, I think we need to invest in running back more than anything.
I agree. That's where I was going to go. You said James Cook. You know me, I love James Cook. I would add him to this team, or I know you like CMC. Trying to get CMC in a win now team.
And a window's open, right? I mean, could you get CMC plus? Who has McCaffrey? Are they competing?
Let's find out. Christian McCaffrey, he is currently owned by Sandusky Show Squad.
They're definitely not competing. So could they give you McCaffrey and Diggs for the 112? You know? Because Diggs is kind of just a throw-in at that point.
Sure. You said Derrick Henry. Maybe not Derrick Henry.
Well, how about...
Who was the other running backs? James Cook,
Derrick
Cook. Henry, CMC,
yep.
Who else?
We've got Ken Walker as an option. Chuba Hubbard, you and I both love.
Let's do Chuba Hubbard. The reason why I'm going with these guys is because these guys are younger, right? Yeah. Obviously, James and Chuba are significantly younger than CMC and Derrick Henry. So if you get these guys and still have them on your team for the next at least 3 years, where in reality we don't know if CMC or Derrick Henry is going to be in the league in the next 2 years. But James and Chuba kind of feel pretty. I mean, Chuba got a contract extension. I just got a report this morning. James Cook is looking at a contract extension with this offense, which is exciting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like those two.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of some of these ideas. Again, I think running back is where I'd like to improve. Because, I mean, if Judkins does get second round draft capital and you were able to get him at the 112, it'd be hard not to stick and pick.
I agree. And that's exactly what, I think it's all going to depend on landing spot. And that might have to be, and by the way, we always say these trades, these moves that you're doing happen on your rookie draft night. Okay. You try and move these picks. You don't move them before. You move it after you understand what the draft class is, which most likely sometimes is a little bit difficult. Or you take a risk and you say, you know what, I'm going to send the 112. Then you say, would you rather have James Cook or Quinton Judkins? Once again, you just don't know because of the landing spot.
Yeah. And right now I'd probably say Judkins, but you're right. It depends on landing spot. And, whoever has Hubbard,
and everything.
Whoever has Hubbard, how much you can really get depends on their conviction on Hubbard. But the good news is the person who has Hubbard isn't a full rebuild from what I remember. I don't know why I can't find them now.
Yeah, why Chuba hurts.
So, could you grab Chuba? Would you what if you could add like Debo as a throw in? He'd be perfect. Debo as a throw in, Jennings as a throw in, right?
Yeah.
The 206.
Especially if they're older, because they can help your team compete, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I might do like 112 and a future third or something for Chuba and Devo, or 112 for Chuba and what do we say? Who else did we say?
Devo.
We said Devo.
Oh, you said
Jennings. Same
Jennings.
thing for Jennings, right? I mean,
yeah, Jawan Jennings. Yeah.
Actually, I think you would just do a throw in for Jennings because it's so unclear there. Yeah, I really like that Devo deal. Actually, I'm really liking that for him.
Yeah, I like these guys as well. I mean,
how
obviously
about
James Cook?
Montgomery with some of these seconds?
How do you feel about Monty now with Ben gone? I'm not saying he's irrelevant. I'm just wondering, this new offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Is it just going to be Jahmyr Gibbs now, whoever that is, or is it just
question?
That's my only concern with Monty right now. I think Gibbs is safe.
How about we use the 205? Because a lot of people might be thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I'm happy to get Monty, but it is a riskier move now. And if you do get him for the 205, you're buzzing.
How about the 205 and Nick Chubb? 205 and Wandale. 205.
To get Nick Chubb?
No, 205 and
Chubb.
Chubb or Wandale from Montgomery as a starting.
Okay, sure.
You might have to up that offer.
Yeah, I understand.
That is your starting point. Now we could look to add a veteran receiver. I mean, would you buy Terry McLaurin on this team for the 112? I think it makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense. I think it would really hurt your team if you don't. I feel like... What am I trying to say here?
The main goal is
to get running back.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get running back and James Conner goes down and then Trey Benson takes over, you're like, holy shit, who are my two starting running backs? I feel like you need depth here at the running back position.
Yeah.
I think if those running backs like the Quinshawn Judkins don't get the draft capital that you were hoping and expecting, then maybe we can get one of the best available wide receivers like the Golden, the Royals, the Mbukas, or we can go out and see if we can get Terry.
Yeah.
That just makes sense.
At the 205, by the way, if you were to stick and pick, I think you're just going best running back available. And the names that come to mind to me will be your Giddens, Sampsons, Marks, for me, Brashad Smith, Neal, Scattaboo. That's kind of like that range,
Yeah.
There's probably a lot more names you could add there. I mean, there's so many running backs we love, but this is kind of like you hit on 3 of these, maybe one of them hits, and you have a starting running back for the next 4 years. You try and find your Bucky Irving.
100%.
Yeah. Like I said, window's open. Everything's about taking advantage of this window you have right now. I mean, I wouldn't even mind sending like some of these second rounders for names. Like, would you send the 205 for James Conner? Here it is, James Conner. So that's like our go-to. 205.
I would say let's just say he trades
no
the
running backs
112.
I want to trade for the 205.
That's what I was gonna say. Let's just say he gets the 112 and he ends up getting the James Cook, the Chuba. Okay, let's package our seconds. Can I go out and get a Jacoby Myers or Darnell Mooney, and continue to get some of these depths? Like you can take a chance with Calvin. You can take a chance with
Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy. There you go. Like some of these names you can take a chance with. What is Michael Pittman? I feel like Michael Pittman might be a good buy low right now. That sounds crazy because we've both been off Michael Pittman on the Colts. But what is he worth right now? Because that was the first name, or that was a name that just came to mind just then.
Devontae Adams as well would be a good, but maybe you use the 207 instead.
Michael Pittman, according to Keep Trade Cut, he's worth a 25 mid-second.
Yeah, I mean, I'd use the 207. I'm
Yeah,
just
for
not,
Pittman,
just not
see
sure
what
I
happens.
would. Yeah, I'm just not sure I would.
Look, it's not an exciting name, but
Yeah, I get it.
if Anthony Richardson really locks in here,
Yeah,
you can try like the Chris Godwins of the world.
he's probably not going to lock in, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think this is a great plan. I really love the Cook deal, the Hubbard Debo deal. I like the CMC Diggs. Actually, I prefer that one. Which deals do you want to highlight here?
Well, let's do James Cook for me, and then let's do a second rounder. Let's do 205 and Jerry Jeudy. Let's do that one.
Yeah, which you might have to pay a little bit more, but that's a baseline.
Yeah, untouchables, probably Brock Bowers and either
Definitely.
Malik Neighbors or Lamar Jackson.
Let's go Bowers Neighbors. I could see a world where you tear down from Jackson if you wanted to. I don't think he should.
Oh, yeah, I understand. Holds.
I think Sutton could get a new contract, so I'd be interested in holding him. DJ Moore's a really good hold now with Ben Johnson. You can drop Rondale Moore. You can drop
I have a
Brevin Jordan.
Yeah, I have Amir, Brevin, Damian Pierce, and Spencer Rattler.
Yeah. I mean, until the Saints address quarterback, he has a chance to do something. So I'd definitely go Amir with you, Rondale, Brevin, and then
I have Damian Pierce.
Yeah, you can drop Damian at this point.
All right, cool.
Actually, I'd rather keep Damian over Antonio Gibson, oddly enough.
Okay, so Antonio Gibson. Okay, so let's put Antonio. I mean, obviously, when you're watching this later, for me it doesn't really matter, but you can go with your gut. But I'm happy to drop either Damian Pierce or Antonio Gibson. But appreciate you, Lemon Heart. Obviously, you're probably not with us, but when you are watching this, you will be receiving your customized Dynasty playbook within 48 to 72 hours with all the information that we just broke down here for you. So stay tuned for that, and obviously that's going to have an email. If there's anything wrong with that graphic, shoot us an email and we can fix that for you and send that to you straight away. But we appreciate the support. Love.
Hold on, it didn't let me send a message to him. Well, he's already heard that. All right, I think we're gonna do Hosier next because Sean is an offline one. We sent him a message. We'll give him some time to reply. But I just need to go pee, so I'll let you read that context.
Yeah, no worries.
Let's just quickly let people know that if they want their team reviewed, it's very simple. You can either become a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. That is the best bang for your buck by far. Or you can buy one a la carte with the a la carte link I'll put in the chat now as well. But again, we're going to send, for example, LemonHerbert this playbook, which will be completely customized to his league. And we've had so much good positive feedback from this. It's been really, really fun. And if you want yours, that's how you can get it. All right, go ahead and read Jay Hosier. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Jay Hosier, appreciate you as you're watching this maybe now or later. Let us know if you are with us. But if not, that's okay. It says, hey guys, just looking for any advice on where to go with this team. Definitely feel super confident in it all aside from running back depth. Just looking for a general guideline to overall roster management. How many players to roster at each position? How many players should be future assets versus vet, etc. Okay, we could definitely help you out with that. This is 2 quarterback, 10 teams, start 10. So this is definitely middle ground. Basically, this is how all of our dynasty leagues are built, essentially. So 2 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, and 3 flex spots. Obviously, the little nuances. Maybe there's 3 wide receivers and 2 flexes. Essentially, it's all the same setup there. Okay, but we'll have a look at this team. Obviously, you probably can't see that on the live stream because Zach is not there. But we will break this down for you because this is a super flex league. All right, let me just write this down really quick. All right. I'm looking at this team here: Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, and Drake May. I mean, first of all, that is a phenomenal quarterback room. I know you guys can't see that in the chat live with us now, but Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, and Drake May. This is by far the best quarterback room in this league, according to the rankings here on the Flock Fantasy website. At the running back position, Bucky Irving, Chuba Hubbard, Joe Mixon, Rashad White, Javonte Williams, and the list goes on there with Jonathan Brooks. Bucky hit tremendously. Chuba Hubbard getting that long-term contract extension over Jonathan Brooks, with him tearing his ACL again, which is unfortunate because we both loved him. He is, a decent running back room. I know you say you don't have too much confidence in your running back room, but I think this is great what you have so far, and we can definitely build off this. At the wide receiver room, once again, you can start up to 5 wide receivers, as this is middle ground. Puka Nacua, Nico Collins, Marvin Harrison Jr., DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, with Tyreek Hill, Keon Coleman. Who is Deontay Johnson and what team is he on? I have no idea. And Christian Kirk, and the list goes on there. This is a great wide receiver room as well. Obviously, maybe some veteran guys that can step up a little bit more, like a DK, like a Tyreek, wherever he is going to go. And at the tight end position, Sam Laporta, David Njoku with Hunter Henry there. And you have the 110. You don't have your 26 first, which is interesting, but you can definitely compete. This is definitely taking it to the next level here.
It's a good team.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not really a weakness on this team, quite frankly. 10 team, it makes sense, right? If you don't have a good team in a 10 team, then it's going to be tough to really compete like this. I just want to read his message real quick. Feel super confident aside from running back. Yeah. Okay. I mean, this is a very good team. You don't have your first and 26, so is this another Windows open? I mean,
I say this is, team alone, I think this is a contender. But
I agree. You're definitely contending, no doubt about it. But yeah, I mean, let's put contender. It's not to say that contender is a better team than Windows open. It's just different.
Sure.
How you approach it, But yeah, you're definitely a contender, no doubt about it. Think about your starting lineup right now: Daniels, Burrow, Bucky, Chuba or Bucky Mixon, Puka, Collins, Laporta, and then you can start 3 flex spots between Marvin, DK, Terry, Tyreek, Mixon. We've got a very, very deep squad here. I'm a big fan of it, actually. Draft capital, not very good. I mean, you don't have a first and 26. We don't know what your 27 picks look like. I would say like C+ draft capital, but overall team, this has got to be like A-, no? B+,
yeah.
B+, A-.
Yeah, I'll give it A-. I think it's really good. Obviously, there's some things you can improve on, but having the depth, like for example, Sam Laporta last year, where you say, wow, this is an amazing team, but coming into this year, it's like, okay, Sam Laporta is still up there.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the production, but David Njoku, what we saw, Hunter Henry, what we saw is a little bit exciting. Having these guys as depth pieces that you can rotate, I think is good. So I'll give it an A- there with you.
I would definitely hold Bucky Irving because everyone in the world is telling you to sell him. It doesn't make sense to me. Marvin's a good hold as well. Your untouchables are Jaden Daniels, Puka Nacua, Burrow. You could put Collins there too if you wanted. I mean, yeah, I don't see a reason for this team not to hold Collins. And
yeah, I'll say let's put 4 here, having 4 untouchables, and Joe Burrow there, and then we can give him 2 drops, which would probably just be Emmanuel Wilson.
Emmanuel Wilson for sure is a drop, and then probably Parker Washington. I think they're going to replace him. You could drop Nick Westbrook-Ikini as well if you wanted, but. Or Theo Johnson, but I'll go that direction. Yeah, I mean, this is a contender. I think with not having our 26th first-round pick, there's no reason not to be all in this year. And you've already got one of the better starting lineups in your league. Love having 3 quarterbacks that I can rely on. You could probably tear down from... I don't really want to tear down from Daniels or Burrow. I want to win with them. So I guess we can tear down from Drake May if we wanted to improve somewhere.
Yeah, I can understand that. Can we get one of these quarterbacks get some more wide receiver depth, or maybe get more running back depth, or a younger running back? I know he said he wasn't as confident in his running back room, but I think we have a lot more confident in Bucky,
love it.
Chuba, and Joe Mixon. I mean, yeah, we like these guys. Obviously, Rashad White is there, so you have that backfield already. I mean, hell, you have the Panthers backfield already as well, which is really good. You probably drafted Jonathan Brooks knowing that he was going to take over Chuba Hubbard. You probably drafted Bucky Irving in hopes of what happens if Rashad White goes down.
Yeah.
And look, both of those guys took over that role.
And they say don't draft your handcuffs because you'll limit your upside. I'd like to use Drake May in a tier down. I don't think we have to. By the way, I think you can rock into the season with this roster as constructed. And stick and pick, I think you'd be just fine. I don't think you really need to. But if we were to tier down from Drake May, I think we still get a quarterback 3 and then we upgrade at wide receiver somewhere. So Drake May, for example, let's find a team that is quarterback needy. Stubbs. They have Tua. They just don't have another name that makes sense. So let's keep looking. Like Bryce Young, if there was like a Brian Thomas, this would be perfect, but there isn't. Let's see. Phillip has Jordan Love and Sam Darnold. They also have Amon-Ra St. Brown. Would you do Love, Amon-Ra? I really don't think that person's going to be one tier down, but in case they are, Drake May in the 110 for Jordan Love plus Amon-Ra St. Brown. And you could also offer them the 206 as an example. I don't think that's the perfect partner, I don't think, but...
Nah, basically I was going to say I'm happy to package the 110, 206, and Drake May and just see how high we can go.
How about Brian Thomas and Baker Mayfield?
Sure.
What if we gave them Drake May and would you do Marvin Harrison for Brian Thomas and Baker Mayfield, and then maybe
I guess in my scenario,
let's try and give them DK instead.
Yeah, in my scenario, I want to keep Marvin,
and we'll also give them the 206. Metcalf, and the 206 for Thomas and Metcalf and Mayfield. That could work. I think it starts a conversation.
Yeah.
I would love a Penix golf tier down. And maybe you do you can't get Neighbors, let's be honest. But could you do Higgins Achane? Like one of those names? Okay, so we're tearing down to who again? Remind me. Jared Goff. I'd say Goff or Penix here. I don't care which one. Whichever gives you more return. Plus Achane. And we'll give you Drake May and the 110.
Yeah.
I think you could also do that. Instead of Achane, you could try for Higgins. Do these make sense?
It does. I just wonder who's available in one.
I mean, I'd rather do the 206, but I don't think that's possible. Not with Penix for sure. Okay. All right, how about the guy who has Dak? This could be good. What about... Dak is like the easiest buy low right now. He's so low in rankings. Would you do Dak and Gibbs? And we're going to give them Drake May in the 110.
I just don't think that's enough, no? Oh, and the Drake May 110 for Gibbs.
And we can add the 206 there. We can add Rashad White. And 10-teamer, we can really pile on the assets here.
Yeah, like I'm happy to give all those assets away, honestly, just for a player like Gibbs, like a superstar. Right? Like if I can get a superstar and then so whatever quarterback.
I would do this for either Dak or Trevor, by the way.
Sometimes I don't think. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'd even pay more than this, but that's the base model, or base offer rather.
Sure, of the trade.
Yeah.
Just the general construction of the trade and how we would go about it.
What about a London? I don't think that those ideas fit together. Any other ideas?
Yeah, the two is just not a good team. Patrick Mahomes,
Purdy?
Bryce Young,
Purdy McConkey?
Purdy Aladdin.
And we'll give up.
You have a model. You have Jordan Love. Okay.
I'd give up Drake, the 110, and the 206 for that.
For Brock Purdy and Lab McConkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that as well.
I don't know that there's another deal that makes
But
sense.
you just do it for one. Well, I guess you definitely want a quarterback back.
Yeah, you want a quarterback 3, especially if you're going to compete.
You want a quarterback back, yeah. I was going to say, I'm just happy to do it for one, like May the 110 to 206.
Well, what you could do is Geno Smith neighbors. Right?
Oh, 1,000%. So just do that, Geno Smith neighbors.
And then we need to give up May. Maybe we can try and keep the 110 here. Geno's a dead asset in a lot of people's eyes. So essentially he'd be getting May, the 206, and Rashad White. We might have to send them back like another receiver. What would you send back? Tyreek Hill and then get rid of the 206? Or is that paying too much?
I feel like that's too much now.
Yeah.
I mean, I would even go to the length of like Drake made the 110 the 216 for just Malik. And then, you know what? Let me get Joe Milton because that's my backup. Yes, Keon Coleman. You could throw him in.
Yeah. Let's try that. But I don't think you have to. It's just an idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
if you stick and pick, you know, your team really doesn't have weakness, honestly. So I think you go true BPA here.
And that can be anything. That can be a tight end.
Yeah.
That can be a running back. That could be a wide receiver. Hell, quarterback can fall there.
Yeah. I mean, we can also look at trading the 110 for a vet. So the 110, like we said earlier, there's like that range of running back. James, I don't know if I'd want to do this for James Cook, but James Cook plus something. I might be too low on James Cook.
Yeah, you don't like James Cook? Why not?
I do like him. They like to split opportunities. In random games, they'll have Ray Davis be the lead back. It's weird.
Right.
But I would do it like Godwin Cook.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
You could also do it for Chuba Hubbard with a plus on top. Let's find out who has Chuba Hubbard. Oh, wait. We have Hubbard, don't we? Yeah. I'm an idiot.
Yes, we have Chuba Hubbard.
CMC maybe could make sense.
Yeah, that could
Likely to
make
get
sense.
more. Because right now it's very easy to trade for him. And he's currently on Team 4. Like CMC Mooney, CMC Myers, CMC Benson. Those all make sense to me.
Yeah.
All right, what's your favorites here?
For me, 100% James Cook, if you could. But I really like the Dak Prescott Gibbs and the Brian Thomas Baker Mayfield one.
Yeah, I like that one a lot too. And I also really like the Amon-Ra one.
Yeah, we could do one more. Okay. Perfect.
I think, like, you make one of these deals, you're primed. If you only did the Jordan Love Amon-Ra deal, you're primed. If you only did Thomas Mayfield, you're primed. Dak. Like, This team doesn't really have any needs, honestly.
No.
So
It's a great team.
I'm a huge fan of it. I would love to own this team. We love having 3 quarterbacks that we can rely on, so you don't need to trade those guys away. Bucky and Chuba can definitely lead you to a championship. Don't feel like they can't. I mean, my friend, I just won a championship in the Alpha League, and I had Kyron Williams and Tajay Spears. I had Kyron Williams and Tony Pollard. Kyron Williams and Ramondre Stevenson. So, but I also had, of course, A.J. Brown, JSN, Justin Jefferson, Lat McConkey, CeeDee Lamb. But all I'm saying is you have one of those teams where the strengths are everywhere. You might not have a Gibbs-Bijan combo, but you have such a strong overall team. I don't feel the need to sell Metcalf because it would be on a low right now. I don't feel the need to sell Terry because if I did, I would be counteracting the fact that I don't have my 26 first. I want to compete next year. Same thing with Tyreek Hill. So, Njoku's a fantastic number 2. Mixon is the depth you need. I don't think there's another sell here.
No, I don't think there's another sell here either. I mean, obviously you could go with Bucky Irving route, but I think we both would be okay to just keep Bucky Irving.
Yeah.
If you are on the other side of that, just make sure you get the right price for Bucky.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell Bucky unless it was a very impressive offer. And it's funny because every offseason we have certain players that there's just 2 sides of this war. And Bucky is that player, I'm realizing. Like, just off of yesterday's video, the trade target video, Bucky is one of those players people are going to go to war to either way. Yeah. For or against.
Yeah. But appreciate you. You will be receiving your customized playbook within 48 to 72 hours in the Flock Fantasy Message System, so definitely stay tuned on that. And if there's any mistakes or any incorrect on the graphic, shoot us a message on the Flock, the Fantasyland email, which you'll see in the message system, and we will fix that up right for you. But appreciate the support.
We send the email when we do the review now, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We're killing it.
That's good.
We're killing it. Appreciate you, man. Very, very kind. By the way, I think Sean might have just upgraded to a live review. Let me double check this. Okay, yeah. So he did upgrade to a live review. So let's go to Sean next, shall we?
Sure. All right, Sean.
And just before we do, is that Sean in the chat? Sean Collins? Are you Seanzie?
Is that Seanzie?
We've had reviews from you before. I definitely remember you getting reviews before, which is great that you're coming back. I assume you enjoy the reviews and they are worth your time, which is great. But again, if you guys are out there and you want your team reviewed, it's very simple, guys. There are 2 ways to get your team reviewed. The first way is by becoming a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. You get the team playbook, all right, which is completely customized to your team, a game plan for your offseason that is designed for your league, your settings, your rules, exactly what to do with your draft picks and how we would outwork it all. Now, when you become a yearly Mother Flocker member, you get the live review already. Okay, you also get a rookie report, all the premium tools on the website. The other option is if you're on a different promo code and you just want to buy a review, then you can go to the Flock store. All right. Now the link I'm about to put in is to become a yearly member. There it is right now. The second link is if you want to go to the Flock store, you're already on a different promo code or you just don't want to become a member. When you get there, you go to team review. If you haven't linked up your leagues yet, you can link them with Sleeper, ESPN, or Yahoo. If you're on a different platform, all you need to do is leave your league ID. For example, MFL, leave your league ID and then screenshots. But assuming your team is linked, you link up your team, hit continue, select your team, make sure it's the right team. All right, so make sure your rookie picks are correct, hit continue. Then you'll see Zach and Badaki here. The offline version is, the baseline option is an offline review. Some people prefer that because they don't want people to see the review live from their league. And it's been cool to have the feedback from that. The other option is just paying $10 more to prioritize your league, your review on a live stream. So those are the two options you guys have available to you. And yeah, let's get to this next review.
Sean, appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for the support. And upgrading to the live review here. Thank you so much for that. Let's read this context. He says, fellas, I started a heavy rebuild in 2023 offseason, had an excellent 2024 draft, and won more games than expected, but still have a good draft capital. This league has a three-headed monster with the top three teams. How can I get into the mix?
Well, first off, the guy at number 1 is called Sam Presti. So I hate to tell you this, Sean, but you have no chance because Sam Presti is the best GM in sports today. It's not even a question mark. What he has done with the Oklahoma City Thunder is truly historic. Nobody can touch him. Nobody can hold his jockstrap. Sam Presti is playing checkers. No, Sam Presti is playing a game that the aliens play that we haven't even heard of yet, and we're playing checkers, okay? But we'll do our best. We'll do our best. Your team name is Next Door Neighbors. You're currently ranked 6th in my rankings.
Yep.
And you're right. I mean, some of these teams are very, very good. But honestly, it's not to the point where it's unattainable to compete.
No, not at all. But let's have a look at this team here. This is a 2-quarterback, 12-team start 9. So this is meat and potatoes. So basically, yeah, 2-2-2 all around outside of the tight end position. 2 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 2 flex. Start to 4 wide receivers or 4 running backs. Let's have a look at this lineup here. Drake May, Michael Penix, Bryce Young.
Nice.
Great quarterback room. Michael Penix getting the start this year, and Bryce Young having a huge step up, which is phenomenal. So you love to see it. Got a call on Tyrone, Isaiah Pacheco, Ramondre Stevenson, and the list goes on there. So that RB2 is in question with Tyrone. I mean, hell, the RB1 technically with Tyrone's in question, and we don't really know what's going to happen if the Giants are going to draft another running back, but anything can happen there. So this could be a good running back room going to 25, or a decent running back room going to 25, or absolutely in shambles going into 25. At the wide receiver position, remember, you can start to 4 wide receivers: Malik Neighbors, Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers, Jerry Jeudy, with Jalen McMillan in the wings, Josh Downs, and the list goes on with Cole Kmet and Theo Johnson. So not the strongest tight end room there. So it looks like, yeah, you did have a good 2024 draft class. I mean, Drake May, Michael Penix, Tyrone, Malik Neighbors you got as well, Jalen McMillan you got. So those are your top 5 picks you had last year with the 105, 106, 108. So you have 3 first-round picks here and a first-round pick in 26. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a start 9. So, but to be honest, in a start 9, this is not an ideal roster. I think outside of Neighbors and your quarterback room, I'm not in love with this team. There's pieces I like. You have 3 first-round picks. You have your first and 26. Thank God. Draft capital is an A+. 3 firsts and your pick still. You're looking good. A flat. There's people who have better draft capital. Let's say A flat. But if we look at your starting lineup, it's May, Penix. It's maybe Tyrone, maybe Pacheco next year. We don't even know. It's Neighbors, Addison, I guess Kmet. I don't know. And then we have to flex 2 other names. That's Flowers and Jeudy. Honestly, like, look, it's not a bad team. It's just when you're flexing in a start 9, Jeudy and Flowers, and your running backs are questionable as well, it doesn't scream championship winning roster.
Yeah.
I think you can make some noise with these picks. Unfortunately, you're not really in a position to tear down from the picks you have.
The picks, 100%. This is kind of where like the meat is. If you had like a top 3 pick or a top 4 pick, it's like, all right, let's tear down to the 107, 108. You're kind of there
where
already.
I would want if I was in your league, I'd be approaching you to ask you to tier up.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, you need a running back, you need this, you need a wide receiver, you know. Like,
but Aki, we can paint a picture where this team is very good in 2025. That picture is the Giants don't draft a running back, neither do the Chiefs. Jerry Jeudy is the number one on Cleveland, and Chris Godwin doesn't re-sign in Tampa Bay. I mean, you're definitely in the playoffs if all those scenarios happen, but the opposite of all those scenarios could also be true.
Yeah, that's kind of the hardest part, right? Because you have to hit on what 4 things we just said there.
Yeah. This is like C plus B minus territory. And I think if we hit on our picks, we're more B plus. But I'm leaning B minus C plus right now. What about you?
Yeah, I was gonna say C plus, because of how much has to happen. If it does hit, phenomenal. You're a B plus team or B minus team.
A lot has to go right.
Yeah.
And he said, look at the top 3 teams. They're insane. Sam Presti's team is ridiculously good. Yeah, he's got Bijan, Taylor, Brees, Puka, London, Thomas, Harrison, McBride. That's ridiculous. God. We've got another team that has Burrow, Hurts, Mayfield, Saquon, CMC, Henry, Cook, AJ Brown, Higgins, Bowers. That's insane. This guy's strength is his wide receivers, but those top 2 are going to be tough outs. This is interesting because I don't think look, you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. You know, we always say that. You're definitely not a favorite, even if these draft picks hit. This is like, but the thing is, it's definitely not is it a 1-year punt? Is it a sleeper? It might be sleeper. If we hit these picks right, it's a sleeper.
I think, yeah. If I think that there's 2 ways that I'm seeing it. If nothing happens to the players, the 4 players I named, Tyrone, Pacheco, Jerry, McMillan, if these guys are going to be having their starting role going into 2024 or 25, excuse me, this is sleeper. If not,
yeah.
If all these guys' position are somehow taken over, contracts are extended, somehow traded away to a maybe even worse position, I think this is like, okay, what do you want to do? This is more like
in or out.
It's time to make a decision. I know you have these players. I know you have Drake May, Michael Penix, Malik Neighbors, but you have to make the decision on whether you want to, be in or out.
This is actually kind of the definition of in or out, because I believe if everything goes your way, you can go in as a sleeper.
100%. And if not,
so again, like, look at my little cursor here. We're talking in and out here. But if you decide to go in, that's why in and out is between sleeper and 1-year punt. If you decide to go in, you're sleeper status. If you decide to go out, you're a 1-year punt. Yeah, I lean 1-year punt because I don't think everything's going to pan out the way we want it to.
Yeah. I guess I'm an optimist. I'm saying you're either in or out. And I like, the thing is, that's the thing. Do we get ahead of it and say, all right, this is not going to work out? Let's just say 2 out of the 3 or 2 out of the 4 don't hit. Tyrone drafts the running back and they extend Chris Godwin. Okay.
Yeah, you're still in a tough spot.
You're in a tough spot still, even if half of that happens.
Yeah, I mean, the more we talk about it, the more I think this is a 1-year punt.
It's all going to depend on the draft, but I can see that pathway as well. And I think
because the issue is, Badaki, if we say, wait, are you in or you out, and we wait, if they draft the running back in Kansas City, it would be too late. It'll be too late to rebuild. You know?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You'll have no opportunity to rebuild.
So we're going in. So let's go in the sense of this whole thing went to shit. They drafted a running back.
If this is your team, Badaki, what are you doing? Because I know what I'm doing.
If this is my team,
what's your pathway if it's your team?
If this is my team, I'm looking at like the future. Okay, well, I'm still trying to build for later. So this is be like a 1-year punt.
Exactly, I agree. It's a 1-year punt for me. And if you hit in 2025, then you're really in a position to compete in 2026. But I think Neighbors is your untouchable. I don't think there's another one. May is like, I just don't think there's another one. So let's put his future first, because this team definitely should not trade their future first round picks. You can definitely hold Penix, McMillan, Downs, and Bryce Young. And then you can drop quite a few. You can drop Trey Lance. You can drop Dylan Laub. You can drop...
There's two. We're going to do two because we're going to do 4 holds.
Okay, yeah.
We will tell you who else you can drop, but like, just know that when you could
drop
graphic.
Kenneth Gainwell if they draft someone else. You could drop Cam Akers probably if they draft someone else. But yeah, and Sean, please jump in as we talk with any thoughts or if you disagree with something. But I think this is a 1-year punt. I would be trying to sell. I love Tyrone Tracy, but I don't have the same conviction with Tracy as I do Bucky. I do think they could still replace Tracy.
This is what I've been understanding.
You as a Giants fan, tell me what you think.
This is what I've been understanding. I don't think they're going to replace Tracy. I think they're going to complement him.
Yes. Okay.
Which that could hurt his production. But like if they get a running back in the 4th round or the 3rd round, it has to be a superior talent. It has to be someone that we believe is better than Tyrone Tracy. When I say we, I mean like as individual scouters like you or me, not them.
Yeah.
So that's what I believe. I don't think unless Mario Hampton falls to the 2nd round, early 2nd, and they draft him, that's completely different. You know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, look, I agree with what Bungee Cord's saying here. I mean, you won't find a bigger Jalen McMillan lover than I, and even I won't pay a 1st-round pick for him. So I just don't think that's possible. But I agree with you, Bungee, that if you can get a 1st for McMillan, it's definitely worth doing. But Sean, by the way, says if May looks like Josh Allen, I may keep him for sure. I will sell any running back I have. I kind of agree with that. Like, I think Tracy, Pacheco, Stevenson, Judy are all sells in your team. I mean, I just brought Judy as a buy low. But, I mean, we have seen, at least I saw when I went to Trade Finder, which is a great tool we have on the Flock site where you can see real trades that have happened in real Dynasty leagues. I have seen people trade Judy for a 1st. Just today, someone got a 1st-round pick here. You can see that.
I'm just gonna use the bathroom. I'll be back.
Yeah. And I've also seen people trade him for dog shit nothing, like Juwan Jennings and Parker Washington. I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I've seen some people trade him for a 2nd. Someone got Tua in a super flex league. I don't know where the trade is. I've seen someone trade him straight up for a 1st-rounder. So I think his range is going to be very, very wide depending on the user. But if you can get any first in any year for Jerry Jeudy, I think that's a no-brainer. You take that. Now, as far as Tyrone Tracy goes, I'd like to find a team that is competing but needs running back help. But unfortunately, your league is... this is going to be the problem making moves, Sean. Your league is so out of balance that, you know, like, it's going to be really hard to make these moves because the guys at the top don't need help. The guys at the bottom don't think they can compete. And it's not a deep starting lineup. It's only a start 9. I think you're going to find it really hard to sell some of these names. I mean, Tyrone Tracy, for example, why does Sam Presti need him? He doesn't. How about this guy? He's got 4 running backs he can start over. Honestly, KD McKiss my ass is probably the best target for you because they have the 112. That could be perfect. Can you send Tyrone Tracy away for the 112? I mean, can you, even if he's not comfortable with that, can you add the 206 and receive back 212? I don't know. That's closer. It'd have to be like a pick swap. So like a future second, and then you also give up a future third. But I'm telling you, man, you're going to find it really difficult to get trades done in this league because it's so... Every team is so clear in exactly what their goals and ambitions are. All the teams at the bottom suck ass and they have draft picks. All the teams at the top are really good, and they probably don't need your help. The wiggle room in this league is not very big. Maybe you could try and get the 109 from Bijan Sucks. You go Tyrone Tracy, and in this scenario, you can add the 206 for the 109. And does he have a tear down pick swap? He doesn't, but I mean, you start at the 109, and maybe you can also offer him Ramondre Stevenson. Can that get you the 109?
Yeah.
I just think the way your league is established right now, I think it's going to be really difficult, man.
Which makes me want to just keep my players, because that means their value is not their value, but that means no one's gonna want to take a risk on Tyrone or Ramondre Stevenson for that. I mean, like, if you can get it done, 100%. If not, you might as well. If you are saying you're going to be a 1-year punt, you might as well keep these guys, and if they do hit,
well, yeah, you don't want to undersell them, is what you're saying. Like, if you're not getting the right value, just hold. And
100%.
If they come through the draft unscathed, half the moves you did or didn't make, it might pan off. You might be able to sell them for more.
Yeah.
I really like Terry McLaurin Racing as a target for Pacheco with that 203 though. I love that as a target for him. I mean, could you even get like two? Like, could you get the 205 and the 208? I don't know. From that guy, that's another idea. But, I mean, ideally, if you can't sell Pacheco to a contender, you really want an early to mid-second in some year. And as far as Ramondre Stevenson goes, I think use him in a package deal to get it done, to close, basically, if that makes sense. I don't think you're going to be able to sell him on his own, but, I mean, if you can get any late second, I think you take it for him. But again, I think you're going to find it really hard to trade in this league.
Like Aaron Glenn is going to go to the Jets. Sorry,
Really?
I was reading this. Well, it just said like the offer is his if he wants, and then it just said like looks like he's constructing his
Aaron Glenn
roster. The defensive coordinator for the Lions.
Right, okay. I mean, this seems like the same hire they made
That's
ago.
what I was about to say. Like, it just feels like it's the same cycle. What? So you got defensive coordinator last time in Robert Saleh. You get another one. Should we get an offensive mind head coach this time?
Yeah, interesting.
Like, why did we fire Robert Saleh? Was it because he wasn't leading the men, or because the defense was good when he was on the field, when he was on the sideline?
Yeah.
Went to shit when he wasn't. Anyways, that's another conversation.
By the way, did you see DJ Moore tweeted out a GIF of Knuckles from Sonic and Knuckles?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw one.
Or is that Shadow? I can't. That might be Shadow. Yeah.
I think Knuckles is red. Is it the black one or the red one?
It's the black and red one.
Okay, it's Shadow.
Which is funny. Anyway, you will find it potentially difficult to sell these names, but those are some ideas. If you can move Tracy and Stevenson for the 109, I think you'll be really happy. Pacheco for the 203, I think you'll be really happy. And maybe we'll come up with a couple more ideas. But if you are to stick and pick here, which I think, honestly, I don't think I would. You can't tear down from any of these names, so you do need to stick and pick. And at the 105, I mean, it is true BPA. With your builds, you could definitely draft a Luther Burden here. I don't think Tet McMillan will be there. You can definitely draft a Hampton, a Caleb Johnson. All these guys, you don't have like a specific area where I'm like, you you can't draft Burden or McMillan. You have to draft these running backs. Like, I think you get 3 of these names, and I think you have a great chance to really look better in 2026. Let's say you landed Burden, Caleb, and Henderson. That'd be a real nice haul for this team, especially because of how much we like these prospects. I mean, you open up that team now, and your quarterbacks are already set. But if Tyrone loses his job or he holds on to it, you have Caleb and Travion. That is going to feel much more comfortable, even if you sell Pacheco and Stevenson. You've got Neighbors, Burden, Addison, Flowers, Judy. I mean, that's a much better core already. Yeah. And you know what? I do think tight end is in play for you as well. Good. Thank you for pointing that out. Man, I wish you had like one more of these first round picks.
One more, yeah.
Honestly,
I agree.
if you can trade Tyrone and Stevenson for the 109, I think that's perfect. Or even Tracy for the 112. Or this 111 deal. I think you really could use one more of these. But yeah, you're right. Like Loveland is in play. Warren's in play. You know, you add a Warren or a Loveland, whichever one floats your boat. You're in a much better position. But yeah, honestly, you're like one of these trades away from being a full 1-year punt committed pathway.
I agree. Yeah, this is tough because I feel like we definitely want to prioritize a tight end here as well.
Yeah, I almost feel like he needs to, assuming they both go first round, I think they both will.
Yeah, I think they both will.
Morin might be a top 10 pick.
I think it just depends on. I think it depends on landing spot, obviously, in draft capital. Obviously, if these guys don't go, I think it's going to be up to your discretion of who you should be taking there at the 108, and then you're going to be torn between one of these tight ends and the running back, most likely. Hell, even a wide receiver. And maybe that helps because maybe that 109 guy or the 110, hey, let me back it up. Let me get some draft capital. Let somebody else make the decision for you. Along those lines, maybe get a early second if you can. Squeeze in another valuable player on this team. But no, I understand.
He says, who would you target with Judy? Ideally, you make Judy a first. I mean, even if you can attach, like this is similar to Tracy. Like even if you can attach a Stevenson to him, I feel like adding the other names is too much, but if you can add a Stevenson to him, what about Josh Downs? I mean, there's a scenario out there where we attach Josh Downs for a first. But if you can move Judy and Stevenson for anything from like the 110 to the 112, it's an absolute steal. Now, if you attach Josh Downs, I think you should try and aim for like the 108 to the 110. But I really would prefer to move Judy for a late first this year. And if I can, I'm going to hold him because there's a very good chance he's the number 1 wide receiver for this team, which means I have a very good chance of selling him for a first round pick in season.
Yeah.
Which is the perfect idea for a 1-year punt.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But I'm a big fan of again, while the team's not in this place we want it to be, I'm a big fan of the assets we have to push this towards 26 as a contender. And I'd love to hear any questions you have, Sean, that we didn't answer, anything that we didn't address that you wanted us to address. I want to make sure you feel good about it. But yeah, that top 3, honestly, guys, once a team has a couple Thanoses, it's really tough to gain balance again. Especially when they're so young.
Yeah, I agree, Sean.
I agree that it will be a major feat, no doubt about it. I think when you commit to the 1-year punt, you think every transaction I make, it needs to be to maximize value. Doesn't need to be, oh well, I really like Zay Flowers, so I'm gonna maybe overpay for him. No, Doesn't matter. The names don't really matter, you know?
So Lamar, CMC, Adams 2 years ago for 8 total firsts.
Lamar, CMC, Adams. Well, that looks great right now.
8 first-round picks? Gosh.
What did you spend those 8 firsts on then?
It saves you.
Well, probably Neighbors was one of them. May, Penix, Young could have been involved.
Young could have been. Yeah, I'll say Young could definitely been there. Those are first
And
round
then
picks. Jordan
these are
Addison was
probably
first round.
the first
Zay
rounders
Flowers
that
was
he
first
got.
rounder.
Yeah, definitely don't sell your first though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not selling Neighbors on this team either. By the way, or May or Penix, or Young probably. Sent Rasheed for Penix. That's not a bad deal either. That's pretty. I'd say pretty even value and makes sense. Neighbors is my child. I can't do that. I can't abandon my son.
Nah, you'd love to see it. Appreciate you, Sean. Let us know if you have any last minute questions. You will be receiving the digital playbook in the Flock Fantasy Message system there within 48 to 72 hours. If there's anything wrong, obviously you'll have our email within our message in the Flock Fantasy system. Let us know. We'll get that sorted out for you. But once again, a customized playbook with all the information of your team and the details that we wrote down here on the chalkboard. But we appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
We appreciate you a lot. I'm wearing you down. No worries, man. No worries. We want to do the next one?
Yeah, sorry, I was just replying to a message. People don't like Bucky Irving or they love him. They think I'm an idiot or they think I'm smart. There's no in between with these people in the comment section. Appreciate you, Sean. I'll go ahead and confirm
that's funny. Yeah, I confirmed that. And I think the last one here we have is... What's the last one?
I think the last one is Crush.
Yes, Crush 5. Crush is normally with us. Are you here with us today, Crush? If not, that's okay. You'll be getting a time code here, which is okay.
Crush, you are up on deck, brother. Or not even on deck. It's your time to shine. Let's go ahead and respond here. So this is a 12-team start 12. Oh my gosh. All right, 12-team start 12 super flex. That is
team always do that. It's so weird.
That is Depth and King.
Depth is King.
Sorry.
D Feller 26.
And by the way, if you guys are out there and you want your team reviewed, very simple, guys. The pinned comment is a link to become a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. When you become a yearly Mother Flocker member with our code LAND, you get the team review, right, which comes with your team playbook, which is a complete customized guide game plan to your offseason. But you also get our 2025 rookie report, which is on the website. All right. Version 1.0 is already out and cannot wait for version 2. Lots of new information and features coming. But you also get all the premium tools on the website. The other option is you can use the link if you're on a different promo code or you don't want to become a yearly member. You just want to buy a team review a la carte. You can use the link I just put in the chat there. Just when you go to team review, if you haven't linked your teams up yet, if you're with Sleeper, ESPN, or Yahoo, you can do that. If you're on MFL, you can include screenshots in your account ID. But once you've chosen your team and linked it all up, make sure the draft picks are correct. You hit continue. You'll see Zach and Badaki with Fantasyland. The baseline model is offline version. Members get a discount, obviously. And then it's just $10 more to get the live review with the team playbook. Some people prefer it to be offline because they don't want their league mates to see it. So there's all different options for you. All right, let's look at Crush's team. It is huge. It is a start 12, which is massive starting lineup. Depth is king type of starting lineup. 7 starting wide receivers. You can have 7 starting running backs. It's ridiculously big. Depth is super important in this league.
That's what she said.
That is what she said. Go ahead and read the review, the context for us.
Context here. It says, I lost in the championship in this league this past year. How should I go about improving my team? This league is a start 3 running backs with a 2-point tight end premium. So that is big context there. I just traded away Achane, Jordan Addison, and Christian Kirk for the 106, Chuba Hubbard, Shakira, and Calvin Ridley. Thanks for the help. Love the videos. Okay. So a start 3 running back, meaning let's take away one of those flex options, meaning now there's 4 flex options, 3 running backs, and a tight end premium, 2-point tight end premium. Let me just put that as well. That's also not showcasing, even though he put that there. Maybe he didn't click tight end premium. But let's have a look at this team here. Not Matthew Stafford. Drake May, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford. The great quarterback room, young quarterback room there with Matthew Stafford as your QB3. At your running back room, remember, you can start up to 3 running backs. Bucky Irving, Chuba Hubbard, Alvin Kamara, Rashad White, and the list goes on. So technically, you have enough running backs to start. Not the best depth at the running back position here if you need 3 starting running backs, especially if, hypothetically, all 3 of your running backs are on the bye, or maybe 2 out of the 3 running backs are on the bye. Who are you starting there? At the wide receiver position, you can start technically up to 6 wide receivers now. Lab McConkey, or CeeDee Lamb, Lab McConkey, AJ Brown, Brandon Ayuk, Shakira, Darnell Mooney, Calvin Ridley, and the list goes on. So you have 7 wide receivers there, with TJ Hawkinson as your tight end, in the 2-point tight end premium, which is pretty significant.
Not much draft capital to work with, but a pretty good team already, and you have all your picks in 26. You just don't have you just don't really have any picks this year to work with. It's just the 106 if I'm reading this correctly, which you can get an impact player there, but yeah, it might be just what you need with the running back spot there. But let's think through the starting lineup, Adaki. It's May, Herbert, Bucky, Irving, Chuba, and Kamara.
Yeah.
CeeDee, McConkey, Hawkinson. And then we still have 5 flex spots, which we would fill with AJ Brown.
Technically 4.
You're right. AJ Brown, Ayuk, Shakir, Mooney, I guess. Ridley.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. I mean, we've already got a pretty decent starting lineup.
I just want to go through this trade, by the way, because so he traded away Achane, Jordan Addison, and Christian Kirk for the 106, Chuba, Shakira, and Calvin. So Achane,
I actually
Chuba.
don't mind that given this format, but
Jordan Addison, Shakira.
I don't know. Okay, Christian Kirk doesn't mean much to me at all.
It doesn't mean anything, no. But Achane and Addison.
And so Addison is very important in this specific format.
Exactly.
So is Shakir, though.
It is. I think
this is an even trade.
Yeah, I think it depends on who the 106 is.
But let's put a name to that. Travion Henderson.
So now I have Chuba Hubbard, Travion Henderson, Shakira, and Calvin Ridley. Yeah, that feels better than Christian having Achane, Addison, and Christian Kirk.
I think it's a pretty even deal. You just got rid of the more elite assets, unfortunately, in this format. But depth is very important as well. So, you don't have much draft capital. I'd put draft capital grade at like a C+, maybe B-. B- feels fair because he still has his first round picks in the future. Overall team grade as of today, including draft capital and thinking through this entire team, feels like a B flat,
Right.
Because because considering the depth, like if you told me this was like a start 9 or 10, I might be a little less bullish, but it's pretty good depth for this start 12 lineup. I definitely think you are a contender. I mean, there's no point in talking about any rebuild, and you're not sleeping in your league. I mean, people know you're contending. You're not windows open because you have your future first-round picks and you have a bunch of young players. I think this is a contender pathway.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
I think your untouchables would be CeeDee Lamb. And then I think you could argue there's probably not another untouchable. Maybe Drake May. I don't think really he'd be in that category for me. We would tear down from him if we could, but we love him. I think you should be holding Brandon Ayuk, no doubt about it. I would be holding Calvin Ridley, considering they probably have a change at quarterback. And then you could easily drop David Moore, Jalen Brooks, Cedric Wilson, Kendall Milton, Dearness Johnson, Amari DiMercado, Rondale Moore. These are all names that you could easily drop if you needed to clear space. But of course you don't have to if you just have the space and they're there. But yeah, thinking through the 106 here.
What's his draft capital grade, by the way? What did we say?
I would say B-. Okay. And overall team grades B flat.
Yeah, B flat.
Now, thinking about the 106, if you were to stick and pick, considering, I mean,
every position is so important.
Yeah, the running back position is very important. Like you said,
I mean, so is a tight end position. Is a premium.
It is a 2-point premium, but he's pretty set at tight end with Hawkinson, and 3 starting running backs is pretty important too. We need to think after Alvin Kamara is gone. So I really think ideally you add a running back here between
at the 106,
the Hamptons, the Johnsons, the Hendersons. I think you could also, if all the running backs are gone, Luther Burden's definitely in play simply because the depth is so important in your league. And I would say number one goal is to add another running back for the future. Because I look at the rest of your team and I think you're competing already. I think that's the most glaring long-term concern. How long does Alvin Kamara be viable for? Because when Alvin Kamara goes down, even if he plays this year, who are you flexing? Like you mentioned, or who are you starting when he's on a bye or injured?
Yeah, we need depth.
You can trade the 106 for a player. For example, I'm definitely going to suggest the idea of like a Bucky Irving plus something. Actually, in your league, you'd be lucky to get Bucky Irving straight up.
He has Bucky Irving. And
that is right. So I'm not going to suggest that because you already have Bucky. But the 106, you're in this range like Josh Jacobs. You're in this range of, let me look at my video that I prepped. You're in this Josh Jacobs range, Breece Hall range.
Maybe Jonathan Taylor, the Kyron, maybe.
Jonathan Taylor. I guess Kyron. Yeah, probably, right? I mean, with 3 starting running backs. I kind of would prefer to wait until the NFL draft, though. I'd rather wait to see how many of these guys get good landing spots because you already have a veteran in Kamara. I'd like to get a young guy there with Bucky and Chuba to really think long-term with. But that's kind of your range there at the 106.
Yeah.
The issue is we really don't have much to work with outside of that draft pick. I mean, we need Matt Stafford as our quarterback 3. We can talk about selling Rachaad White.
I just feel like in a league like this, that is important. Like Rachaad White is important if we don't get another running back.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Only because like if Bucky misses time, like we saw, either he missed a game or 2. Okay, we start Rachaad White. You have a bye week, then maybe in a league like this, having 2 guys in a backfield, like having David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs is huge. Having Chuba Hubbard and what could have been with Jonathan Brooks is huge, right? Having Rachaad White is pretty big in this one, I would say, as well.
I'd be willing to tear down from Herbert or May. I think Herbert is the one who has more value in the community. But because of how important depth is, I would really be open to exploring a tear down. Like, your Baker Mayfield tear down, your Goff tear down plus something with a start 12.
Yep.
Not both, but one of them. I would be willing to look at tearing down from AJ Brown or trying to get younger. So, for example, AJ Brown, I mean, right now, I think you can probably get Marvin Harrison. Would you do that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
He's in this tier where there's kind of a lot of ambiguity, but let's see. Expert consensus rankings. Where is Marvin? So Marvin's in this tier right now, like JSN, Ladd McConkey, AJ Brown. Or sorry, AJ is. What about Garrett Wilson or AJ Brown? Who would you prefer right now? Probably AJ?
I probably prefer AJ with the situation.
What about Ladd, JSN, Marv between those names?
Whichever one that can give me more value. You know, like
I don't think you get a plus on any of them. So do you prefer AJ over those names?
If it would just be even, I'll be happy with Ladd. They're all number ones essentially.
Okay, yeah. If you want
outside
to
of, yeah, if you want to get younger, 100%.
Okay, I think the only other thing I can think of here is a tear down from, let's just say, Justin Herbert, assuming he has the most tear down return. If that's May in your league, then use May. But I'd like to find a team that is real quarterback needy. He already has Ladd McConkey. Yeah, that's a good point. My bad. A real quarterback needy team, for example, Corey Booth 7 has Baker Mayfield. Could we do a tear down? JT really interests me in this format. Would you do Baker Mayfield plus JT?
Yeah, let's do that.
And we can give up Justin Herbert and Rachaad White, maybe.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. It's perfect.
Not all these are going to be doable. They're just ideas. And Hovey might be the perfect one because he already has two quarterbacks. I think Goff McBride? Because, no, that's not going to work. But what about like Goff 103?
Golf 103 works because then you can still get another running back here or another wide receiver. So you're still getting depth.
You might be able to ask for the 203 there too.
Yeah, you're still getting depth there. So I think that's pretty big.
And yeah, I mean, you could even try and stretch it to the 212 as an initial offer.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd go and tear down to Lawrence or Penix, but this guy doesn't really have. I mean, we could do the same thing. Lawrence 102, 112, 111. Would you do that? I would do that. Purdy Wilson is interesting. Those are all interesting ideas. I don't think you can tear down Stroud. Dak. I think Dak Nico would be ideal, actually. Dak plus Nico. You probably have to give something like.
You have to give something, yeah.
You'd have to give.
Well, would you give like
Mooney?
Alvin if you keep the 106?
What do you mean the 106?
Well, I'm thinking you can give Calvin or Alvin and keep the 106 or the.
Yeah, I think we try and keep Calvin or Alvin if we can, but I like the Calvin idea.
Yeah.
And then I think that's probably where the tear down options stop. I mean, we could talk Caleb, DJ Moore.
Yes, I'll be okay with that as well. And you get the
stack.
You get the stack. You're losing a stack, but you get another stack with Justin Herbert. And
My favorite is I really like the golf deal. You like Baker Mayfield deal? I like that too.
Yeah.
I kind of really am starting to fall in love with the Caleb Williams, DJ Moore one too. Is there another one you like?
Yeah, and then I think maybe just a simple pivot down AJ Brown to Marvin. Let's give him some options there.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, like I said, you're a contender. I think a couple of these moves you make, you feel pretty good about it. It's an interesting starting lineup. It really makes you value running back and tight end. I think TJ Hawkinson's a really good tight end to buy low right now. I think he's going to be very, very good long term. Ayuk's a great buy low. Ridley's going to be a potential sell high when they get a new quarterback.
Most likely.
But overall, I'm pretty happy with this roster out some of these moves that we suggested.
I completely agree. I appreciate you, Crush. Obviously, you'll be seeing this within 48 to 7, or be receiving your Dynasty Playbook book within 48 to 72 hours. Let us know if you have any questions on the Flock Fantasy Methods system. If it is wrong or any errors there, just shoot us an email. We'll get it fixed up right away. But we appreciate the support. I mean, you've supported us. This is your 3rd team review, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But great team.
Yeah.
Really good team.
Yeah, I'm just letting him know that we'll leave time codes for him. But yeah, Sean was already with us. All right, cool. Jamie is up next, but we won't do that today. One of those
Jamie
might be offline as well for Jamie. We'll have to wait and see if they reply or not. But one is live, one might be offline. We have a trade question from Scrooty.
Okay.
But I don't have I don't have
you don't have the time code.
What I can do is I can say, hey, this question was the last thing we talked about on today's stream. Go to the very end to find our discussion. And I'll send him a time code, and let's just answer this. So he says, I'd be getting May, Chuba, as well as a 3rd round pick next year and the 3rd the year after. May, Chuba, and 2/3, basically. Hashtag Baby Thanos just got my team review, made this trade right after. Want to know opinions on it. So they sent away Nix and McMillan. They got back May and Chuba. And yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Still prefer May over Nix, but it's close. And as much as I love, I think they're in the same tier, by the way. And as much as I love McMillan, I couldn't turn down Chuba Hubbard, who looks like a guaranteed starting running back for the next couple of years, if I had that offer in my inbox. So I'm a huge fan of that May deal.
Yeah, appreciate you. I think if I remember his team name was like J Lo. It was like he said, Baby Thanos. There you go.
Yeah, I remember that. Our first Baby Thanos ever.
Yeah, Drake, May, Chuba Hubbard. Yeah, I'm okay with that trade.
Yeah, I think you did really well.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man. That's a great trade, and I hope you continue to build that super team that you're building right now. All right, cool. I think that is it for today, guys. Really appreciate you. I mean, you definitely know how to get your team reviewed by now if you've been watching. And if you don't know how to get your team reviewed, please feel free to DM us on Twitter or Discord. Leave a message on the YouTube video. But last thing I'll say before we sign off is I love Bucky Irving, and I think he's a buy high. And if you don't think that, go watch the video that I released yesterday, because maybe I will convince you. Maybe, just maybe, just maybe. So I'll put that link in the chat. That's the video, our most recent video, 10 of my favorite trade targets in Dynasty right now. Go check that out if you want to keep watching our content. The stream is ending. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Nothing but love. Peace.
Love.